good evening. It's over and over and over again. My name is Richard. It is Friday. It is 7:30, and this is, of course, the Arsenal Women's Show, the highlight of the week, the start of your weekend. It's going to be a bit of a strange weekend weather-wise, but it's been a good couple of weeks, hasn't it, for the Arsenal women. We are going to look back on the North London derby. Of course, North London is red, as it always is. We're going to look at that performance there. There was, of course, a game last night as well. We qualified for the Champions League quarter-final with a nervy victory over at Juventus. We'll look back on that. There is a new date announced, of course, for the Bayern Munich game. We had a bit of a chat about that, didn't we, a couple of weeks ago when it was announced that the Emirates couldn't be used. So we're going to look at the new venue and discuss that. And also, as well, of course, a new interim manager. Ain't done too badly, has she? Is it time to offer her the job permanently, or do we want to hang on and get a different permanent manager to come in? All of this is going to come. Plus, of course, your questions, your comments, and everything else is coming up. And it's coming up the other side of this. And joining us tonight is, of course, the lady herself, Lady Ange. How are you doing this week?
I'm good. I had the best night's sleep last night.
That's good. That's good.
But I haven't slept very well. Last night, knockout. After the slight drama of it all.
Good stuff. Well, that's what we like to hear. And, of course, Amar's back with us. How you doing, my friend? Are you okay?
Yeah, I'm good. How have you been? Keeping warm, hopefully?
Well, trying. It's been a little bit chilly, but we're getting there. And we've also got live from his hotel room in Paddington. It is, of course, the Lord himself. I'll have to put you in your place up there because that's where you belong. There we go. The Lord is with us in his hotel. The Wi-Fi seems all right. Is it okay there now?
Good evening. Yeah, can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you. Yes. Yeah.
Okay. The Wi-Fi is not the best, so I have difficulties to see and hear you, but I'll try the best.
I can hear you okay, but yeah, just whether everyone else can hear you, yeah.
Yeah, we can hear you. We can hear you at the moment. We can see you, so everything's good. And hopefully your Wi-Fi will hang up for the show and it won't let us down. But we'll do our best. We'll do our best and see how we get on. Now, of course, as always, we like to do things chronologically on this show. So there's only one place we can start. Of course, last weekend, last Saturday lunchtime, what a game that proved to be.
Sorry, for which match do you ask?
It's the Tottenham match.
Tottenham.
It's the Tottenham match. Yeah. So obviously a week ago, we were a little bit. We wasn't worried about the game, but after last season's defeat, we wanted to make sure this season we got it right, and it couldn't have gone much better. Really, we got the early goal, which settled everybody down, and that led to another pretty dominant Arsenal performance, which we've almost become used to in the last few weeks, the way we've been playing. But obviously the important thing was to get the 3 points. We could have scored a few more goals. Of course we could, and embarrassed them a bit more. But I think beating them 3-0 in their own backyard is a pretty decent result. And it was a good performance again. Another clean sheet, goals coming from different players, scoring every single game. And it was another really, really impressive performance. I don't know if you can hear us. What did you make of the Tottenham performance? Because it was another really good effort from everybody, wasn't it?
Yeah, I think it couldn't start better. If you score the first goal after 65 seconds, what do you want more? So it was the perfect start. And fortunately, we scored another one after, I think, 25 minutes or so. Yeah. And we dominated the game, and the game plan from Tottenham was destroyed after 1 or 2 minutes. But then I think it was in second half, or was it already still in first half when Daphne made this crucial save. This could have changed the whole match.
That's true.
It was just a fantastic save, and even Tim Stillman, who is a big fan of Manu Zinsberger, said he thinks Manu wouldn't have saved this ball.
Oh, I don't know.
And if Tim says this, well, this was a crucial moment. And then, it took a while until we brought everything to bed with the goal. But
he's gone again.
Andreas' Wi-Fi is letting him down. You'd think in London, wouldn't you? You'd think they'd have decent Wi-Fi, wouldn't you? In hotels in London, you pay enough money for hotels in London. You'd imagine that they could get some decent Wi-Fi for Andreas.
I always think that the lobby. I would say rather than the bedroom. I always notice that in hotels the lobby is the best place. I feel that always gives the strongest connection, but I don't know.
I think you have to pay extra, don't you? I know we've been in hotels before. You get a free Wi-Fi and it's not very good, but if you pay extra, you get a stronger Wi-Fi. I don't know. I mean, it's ridiculous, really. That it should be included.
Yeah, sorry, Rich. Can I interrupt there? Poor Andreas has forked out money for a flight. He's forked out money for the game. Money for whatever else. I won't delve into. Is he going to pay that bit extra? Probably not. Next.
No, absolutely.
It shouldn't have to. It shouldn't have to. It should be included, shouldn't it? It should be included.
I totally agree.
Yeah, absolutely. It should be included. And unfortunately, most hotels I've been to, it's not. You have to pay a premium to get extra good Wi-Fi. So it's just ridiculous, really. But anyway, I'm sure we'll battle on. I don't know where he doesn't seem to be there, does he? He's sort of there and he's not there. I'm not sure what's happening. Anyway, I'm sure
he's trying. He's trying to.
We need to get ourselves back in the right order again, don't we? Because it's confusing.
Like
I mean, we'll come to you about the Tottenham game. Obviously, it's always nice to beat Tottenham, no matter who's playing. Whatever Arsenal-Tottenham game it is, it's always nice to beat them and beat them so comfortably as well. They were never really in the game. But Andreas made a good point about that save that Daphne made before half-time. Had they gone for 2-1, could have been nervy. But that's what she's there for. That's why we bought her. And that's why she's number one now.
Yeah, I mean, that was the only real thing she had to go do all game. It was uncharacteristic of Kim Little to give the ball away in the midfield. When they pressed, I mean, other than that, if you think it was going top corner, when I saw that was actually going over. But, it just shows her athlete, it's just showing why we signed her. We'll go on to another superb save we actually made in the game last night later. But it goes to show, I can understand where the Manu's sentiment is coming from. Maybe she's not saved that. She may have been slow to react. I wouldn't say Manu's best days behind her, but she's reminding me now of Sari van Veenendaal in a way, because how good was Sari for us for many years. But I think she could even be even better than Sari. And other than that, I mean, she knows she's got the back line now and look more solid and more confident now. They've got her behind her. I think everything just seems to be transformed under Renee. And I don't know whether it's to do with her being Dutch, but it's just everything seems to be clicking. It was a crucial save. There was only effort they had on goal in the whole game. And other than that, she more often than not, she seems to be a virtual spectator. But when called upon, she's proving herself to be very, very reliable and capable when needed. So that's great to see, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, that's the job of a goalkeeper sometimes. You might not have anything to do for 85 minutes, 90 minutes sometimes, but when you're needed, you've got to be ready to make the save when it's needed. And it was still quite early in the game in overall scheme of things, but it was an important save. And it's true, when you don't have a lot to do, it's easy to lose concentration and maybe not be ready and focused when you're needed. But she doesn't seem to suffer from that at all. Every single time she's needed, she's ready and she's there. And that was a great save. And it kind of just sums up, I think, at the moment where we are as a team as well. Everybody seems to be... Everything seems to be clicking for us suddenly when it wasn't a few weeks ago. I mean, Ange, you must have enjoyed beating Tottenham. It's always lovely. It's a lovely feeling, isn't it, when you go to their ground and beat them comfortably like that?
It's glorious. Oh, you knew from soon as, who was the player? Was it Jordan Nobbs who had scored quicker than Russo for an Arsenal player?
Oh, was it? It wasn't Nobbs. I don't remember. That's good knowledge. I don't remember that, to be fair.
To be honest, I don't, only because whoever else I was, other than you, Rick, that they mentioned that. But honestly, I nearly, it was like very good. And I think after that, it was just a feel-good factor, wasn't it? It really was. And once again, Frida, whoop, 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 no stopping that young girlie. And then, of course, at the end, Black Stenius, well, not at the end, but Black Stenius, our Stina. Always happy with the Stina. Very happy. There, it was good to see her scoring. And back to Daphne. Back to Daphne. Yeah, I'd be, and I loved him so much. I would be Aaron Ramsdale. I really would. Totally lose concentration. Oh, where's that one come from? Yeah, I really would. Oh, I'd be rubbish. But yeah, she's really on it, isn't she? She looks kind of really laid back, and then suddenly, boom, she's there when needed. So obviously, her concentration is 100%. And that's just what we need. I don't know. I didn't know anything about her, and it was through my Dutch friend. And as soon as I heard the noise, I thought, yeah, it's going to come to us. And then my Dutch friend, she's saying, oh, yeah, she'll want to be number one. I said, trust me, she's going to be number one. There's not many things I know in. She ain't coming to the Arsenal to sit on the bench, and she came a bit sooner than even I thought. And I will put it out there, I love Manu for her big, big personality, but there's a but, and we know what the but is. It's about saving goals. Next.
Exactly. I mean, we've been kind of saying for the last season or two that it looked as though Manu Zinsberger was past her best, and she was almost becoming. I didn't really want to. We didn't want to say it, but she was almost becoming a liability in some games.
Yeah,
you know, she was conceding so many soft goals at really bad times in games. And last season in particular, there was a few games where it cost us points. There was no doubt about that. And it was obvious that we needed an upgraded goalkeeper. Sabrina, for whatever reason, didn't quite work out. I'm not quite sure why. But she's a good goalkeeper.
Sorry, can I just say something? I had no confidence in that. She was okay, and maybe she didn't play enough, but to me, she didn't have it. Didn't have the confidence in
it. Don't think.
No, I don't. No, so I didn't rate her, and I'm quite into goalkeepers, predominantly more men. But yeah, didn't rate her at all. No, shut up. No, because I grew up with men's football. That's what I'm saying. But I just didn't rate her personally. Sorry, didn't.
No. I mean, maybe it was a confidence thing with Sabrina. Maybe you're right. I don't know. I mean, I thought she did okay. Yeah, she didn't get enough opportunities to really prove herself enough. But you know, Manu kept getting picked for most of the big games, and I don't know. But obviously, I've been a fan of Daphne since the Euros in 2022. We saw her live, and she was brilliant.
Yeah.
And from that point onwards, I wanted us to sign her because I could see how good she could be. And now we've got her. It's glad that, you know, finally we're seeing exactly what she can do as a goalkeeper. And I think you're right. She does look very calm, and I think that's important. It's brought a calmness to the defence because everybody trusts her, and she comes for crosses. She's very good at handling the ball.
Absolutely.
Her distribution's good. Her shot stopping's good. And I think she's made a massive difference defensively to the whole team. We look more solid defensively now because we've got more people that they all trust. And that was what was missing the last year or so, or a bit longer maybe with Manu. And you're right, we love Manu for her personality. Absolutely, we do. But as a goalkeeper, I think her best days are behind her, and we've moved forward. And I think we've got one of the best goalkeepers in the world currently in our team now. I really do think she's that good, and she's going to get better and better the longer that she plays. And I'm so excited that we've got her, and it's great that she's doing so well. And let's hope it can continue because it's such an important position. And if you don't have a good goalkeeper, no matter how good your team is, you're probably going to struggle because you're going to let in daft goals. We've cut that out now. When was the last time we let in? Okay, we let in a daft goal against Valerenga. And I suppose the Man United goal wasn't great, but those goals we were letting in nearly every single game last season, whereas it's once every so often. And that's not really down to Daphne. It's just mistakes that people make. We've got Royston with us. He says, thank God it's Friday. Indeed, my friend, it's been a long week, actually, as well. It has been a long week. There's no doubt about that. Terry says, good evening, Richard. Lordy. Hope you get better soon. And as well. And Amar, welcome back indeed. Yeah, I mean, Andreas, I don't know when you could hear him. He has got a bit of a cold. Obviously, last night.
I could tell. I hope he's well.
He didn't wear at the Emirates. He's got a cold. But he
also went to Stamford Bridge on Wednesday. He was telling me as well.
Yeah,
did he?
True.
Yeah, he went to see the Chelsea and Chelsea Celtic game as well.
Yeah, he gets himself about when he's in London, does Andreas? Don't worry about that. Greg's with us. He says, evening all, and good to see Amar back indeed. Terry says, you lot ain't going to like my views on Arsenal tonight, so I'll apologise. Let's get into this. Terry says, I thought it was absolutely crap against us.
What are you watching?
Sorry, Terry, I love you for all the world, mate, but what game were you watching? He likes to wind us up, doesn't he?
I think he was watching the Tottenham Ipswich game the previous week.
He's got to be winding us up, surely.
Yeah, seriously.
Greg says we lack goals. We're only playing Spurs. Well, yeah, I mean, we could have scored a few more. But let's face it, when you go away to Spurs and win 3-0, you have to be happy, don't you?
Listen, we went to their soulless stadium. We didn't want to embarrass them any more than we did.
Exactly, yeah. That's what it is. You know what I mean? We just thought, you know what? Look, you're insignificant to us. We've done it. We've done what we needed to do. We've beaten you, and we'll leave it at that. And we'll play you next time. We'll beat you again, and that's it. You're right. Maybe we felt a little bit sorry for them, you know. And you know that just shows how nice we are as well. We've got the killer instinct to win the game, and then we're like, you know what? We're not going to beat you 8-0 and embarrass you. No, we're not going to do that. 3-0 will do. 3-0. Everybody's happy. We move on to the next game, and I think that was what we did. Yeah, you're probably right, Ed. I think we felt a little bit sorry for them, and that's true, isn't it? Andreas has popped up in the chat. He can't come on the show because his Wi-Fi is not good. He said, "I think the Wi-Fi is too."
Go downstairs, Andy. Go downstairs.
Maybe down in reception. It's probably a better. You probably get better Wi-Fi down in reception.
Let me message you. Let me message you on our chat and see if you'll tell him if we could go downstairs and come back.
Yeah, but maybe something. I don't know. Just try to see if you can get in a different room. Terry says, let's cut the crap. We was rubbish against Spurs. I'd sacked a lot of them. Only players I'd keep is DVD and Steiner. Rene and all the back staff need to go. Well, I'd obviously keep DVD and Steiner. Yeah, I'd keep maybe 1 or 2 others as well. Aaron says, home is next. Home is next. Arsenal ladies' money. Yeah? I don't understand.
I don't know what that means.
No, we're not sure. Sorry.
Maybe you need to write that again in sort of to put the words in the right order so we can understand it, because I'm not quite sure what you mean by that.
I know what
next Arsenal ladies' money. It's a lot of words. I'm not in the right order. We don't understand what you mean. I'm sorry. You know, we want to get your point across, but you need to be a little bit clearer what you mean, and then we'll be able to understand. Yeah. Terry says Jonas got the sack for playing crap football. Rene ain't no different.
Terry,
well, Jonas has gone already, hasn't he? So we don't have to worry about him anymore. Andreas says, I'll stay in the chat. Connection is okay, but StreamYard live seems impossible. Yeah, it needs a bit more strength on the signal to get onto StreamYard. I'll say if you can get back on, be great. If not, then fair enough. Kai says, fact. What you mean? Terry's got some facts. Well, I don't know. We'll see. Andrea says Daphne at least one crucial save per match that saves us points. Exactly, yeah, and that's what a goalkeeper's for, isn't it? That's what they're for, aren't they? They make those crucial saves. Andrea says Terry, the Spurs manager, says he was sad and disappointed after North London derby. That says exactly. If we made the Tottenham manager sad and disappointed, we've got to be pretty happy, haven't we? And yes, we could have scored. We could have beat them 6 or 7-0. Of course, we could have done, but we didn't need to. We won 3-0. We got the 3 points.
We'll save that.
Yeah, exactly. You're right, Ange. It's showing off, and nobody likes to show off, do they? Nobody likes to show off. So let's just win the game and go home, and we did it. And it was nice. It was fun. It was a nice game. We could enjoy it after we scored so early, so there was no tension really because we got it won. The second goal by, I just want to actually say the second goal by Freedom on, and the little flick from Caitlin Ford. What a little pass that was. That was just incredible. Yeah. And it was a brilliant goal. And that was good enough for me. Greg says, I'll be sad and disappointed if the only manager's job I could get is Spurs. That's true, actually, yeah. I think he was probably sad and disappointed with his life, not anything else, because that's all he can do. It's the only team that wants me, so I have to do it. I'm sorry, I am sad and disappointed. But yeah, maybe you're right, Greg. Maybe that's what he meant. He didn't mean anything to do with the performance, just his life in general. But yeah, of course, it's a great feeling to beat Spurs. And I think we all felt we were going to beat them because we were coming into it in such good form. But you know, football doesn't work like that. You've got to go out and do the job. And I thought we did a professional job, didn't we? We scored some good goals, and it was fantastic. As Ange rightly said, it was great for Steiner finally to score her first goal. No, was it her first goal of the season? No, it was her second goal of the season. Yeah. But her first in the WSL. And I think she deserved that because I think when she's come on, she's done well in the game. She's created stuff, and she's been unlucky not to score it at the bar a couple of times. And it was nice for her to finally get a goal, and it was the goal that really sealed the win as well, which was nice. So I was really pleased for her, and obviously pleased with the result and the fact that we've gone there and won the game so comfortably. And I think that's the most important thing, isn't it? So yeah, I mean, it was all we could have asked for, really, apart from a few more goals that I think Terry would have wanted to make him happy if we won 8-0. But let's not be greedy because it's 3 points and that's what matters. So, of course, I mean, we did have a game, of course, last night, which we'll come on to. But before that, of course, they did announce a new venue for the Champions League game against Bayern Munich. Now, of course, there was much controversy about the fact that the game was moved from the Emirates in the first place. Everybody was upset and angry, rightly so. And I suppose in some ways you could say the solution that they've come up with, playing it at Meadow Park, is as good as we could have probably hoped for. The disappointing thing is a lot of fans who had tickets for the game aren't going to be able to get tickets to Meadow Park because of the drop in capacity. Lots of people are going to miss out. And that is really, really frustrating when they're trying to boost women's football. We're trying to get people to watch the games. We've got people to go out, buy tickets, book flights, book hotels, book trains, whatever it is, book time off work, go to the game, and then suddenly they're not going to be able to go. And that's really, really frustrating. And Arsenal need to look at this for the future. We can't get ourselves in this situation again. Something needs to happen so we're not in that position. I'm reasonably happy that it's at Meadow Park in the sense that we've got home advantage and we are good at Meadow Park. We've got a great record there, and I think we've got a great chance of winning that game at Meadow Park. I think we could win anyway, but I think it's probably the only solution that made sense. Playing it somewhere else to me wouldn't have made sense. It had to be played either at the Emirates or at Meadow Park. So I suppose it's the best of a bad job. It's all how I would describe it. But I just feel sorry for all the people that can't go. Andreas being one of them, of course. He had his flight booked, he had his ticket, and now he's probably not going to be able to go. So it's very, very frustrating. But I mean, Emma, obviously, I know you wasn't on the show the week when the news broke and we spoke about it. I mean, what do you make of the whole Bayern Munich situation? You know, moving the game for a Carabao Cup game that is nowhere near as important.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know where to start. When I saw the news being announced in the first place, but I thought the whole thing's a farce. I know, and I mean, obviously that night, which match I'm going to watch, it's a no-brainer. Of course, I'm going to watch the Champions League game against Bayern, regardless of it. I know we could have a chance of reaching a semi-final of the cup, which would be great to see. But at the same time, now that the women are playing so well, and you think after they drew with Vålerenga last night, if we beat Vålerenga in a couple of weeks and go into that game, there'll be pressure on Bayern if they want to try and avoid second place and avoid a really tough quarter final. So it's, I mean, let's not get ahead of ourselves, but we've got a great chance of winning our group now. But I mean, it's such a shame, and when you think how much turnout, what happened the last time we played them there. It's a nonsense, really, isn't it? Carabao Cup, I know, but it's unfortunate Crystal Palace can move because I think we played them 3 days later in the league after that or something. But they need at least, what was it? They need at least, I read somewhere, they need at least 2 days to have the pitch and the facilities to themselves, but to relegate the women on, it is. You could do. What other way? How else would you describe it? You have to relegate the women on for a second Carabao Cup team, which you know is probably going to feature like much change side from what you see in the Premier League. It's an absolute joke. There's no way that should have happened. They could easily have played that. But the thing is, the scheduling is just, it's not, I don't know who to blame here. I think it's the scheduling in general that causes chaos. So doing it international, either playing international 1 week or you're playing a cup for the next. But I don't know. And then you've got FA Cup coming in the next day after Christmas, and you've got all the packed schedule after Christmas. It's an absolute farce that they relegated that game. I don't understand why. Maybe they could have played the men's, the Carabao Cup at, how can they play there so much, Park? I don't know. But it's just it's disappointing to see with all those fans that can make the ticket. And okay, Meadow Park didn't meet with regulations, but it's good that they came to that solution. But it's a massive disappointment when you think, I don't know, how many was there last night? I didn't see the official attendance. Was it 8,000? I can't remember exactly how much it was at the Emirates, but you're only going to get probably, what was it yesterday? What was it?
It was 9,000.
Yeah,
I thought it was closer to 10, but when you see it's going to be less than half of that, and it's at a non-league stadium, it's bitterly disappointing, isn't it?
It is. And what makes it worse, and I know we mentioned this a couple of weeks ago, but what makes it worse is the fact that the Bayern Munich game was already scheduled. The Crystal Palace game wasn't, because it didn't exist at that time, because the draw hadn't been made. We hadn't got through the previous round. So the fact that it should have been, I know it sounds a bit silly, but it should have maybe been first come, first served. The women had the Emirates on that night, so either the men's game moves to a different venue, switch to Crystal Palace or whatever it might have to be, or the date changes and you play on a different night, so you can play the games at the Emirates. And TV seems to have ruled that, because TV had games on. They've got games on the day before. They've got games
it's just to do with money more than it's money. Yeah, it's money talk.
Yeah, you couldn't move it. It's ridiculous. But I mean, it is. as soon as that happened, it was never going to be a good solution. There was never ever going to. The only good solution was to have played the game at the Emirates. That's the only good solution that there was, and that wasn't an option apparently. So I suppose they've done the best they can do in the circumstances, and it is at Meadow Park, and at least it's a home game for us, which it had to be. It's just obviously a quarter of people, or not even that, can get tickets and go and watch the game, and it could well be the game that decides who wins the group, which could of course be very important for the next round. So it's still an important game. I mean, and I know we did speak about this obviously a couple of weeks ago when the initial thing happened, but I mean, what have you made of the decision to play at Meadow Park? I suppose it's the best they could do in the circumstances, isn't it, really?
I've been following it more. I mean, I feel for anybody who can't go, because we had that situation with the Brighton game, and just lost out on a few quid, but it's still annoying. But I particularly think of my Dutch friend Louise, like Andreas, £160 she's forked out, and obviously she's doing things on the budget. Yeah, for flight and then accommodation. I mean, and ironically, because she likes to stay at St Albans, because she might get to see Wally. You never know. She's still
one day.
Yeah, one day. Right. But she's forked out all that money, and then she's got to hopefully try and get the golden ticket, because as you know, Boreham Wood is near St Albans, so that would that's a bit that's ideal. But it's getting a ticket.
Exactly, and there's going to be a lot of people.
I really feel their pain, let alone. And I noticed, I just popped on Facebook earlier, and somebody, I really like the big Women's Fans Forum FB group, and I like the chap who runs it. But there's some people who just write rubbish on there, and they were going on about, there wasn't much of a turnout last night, and there's X amount of women with families said, i.e. either we don't live round the corner from the Emirates, or then it is family, young children are very much part of the fan base now, and they've got school. And
it was freezing cold. It was freezing cold as well.
Andreas, I wouldn't have gone out there. I was so happy being the site. Well, actually, it was a bit of not a rubbish game. That'd be so unfair, but it wasn't the most thrilling game. And I'm sorry, I'm an old lady. I'm not going to be sitting there freezing. So fair play to these diehard supporters.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, no, I mean, you got to think from like you said, it's a Thursday night. It was a freezing cold night. It's not going to be ideal to take your kids to a game like that. It's kicking off at 8 o'clock. It's not going to finish till nearly 10. The time you've got home, it's a late night for kids who've got school the next day. So it was never ever going to be a big crowd, was it? And I think people need to understand that women's football is never going to be, well, I say never, not for the foreseeable future. It's never going to be at the same level that men is in terms of the crowds it can attract every single game. The men's Carabao Cup tie against Crystal Palace will probably virtually sell out the Emirates. It will do, but it's a men's cup, and that's what happens. So and that's what Arsenal have maybe looked at, the money being more important than the fans that have already bought tickets for the game and made arrangements to make it there for that game, which is obviously it's the most attractive game in the group, isn't it? Bayern Munich, the biggest team in the group. And, Andreas said, I hope to grab my ticket for Meadow Park in the pre-sale Tuesday at 10 a.m. Flight and hotel books. I need a Meadow Park. Well, there you go. You see, look, Andreas has already got his flight and his hotel book. Right? So if you get a ticket for Meadow Park and Andreas doesn't get one, do the right thing and give it to Andreas, because he deserves a ticket, doesn't he? Look, come on. I mean, he's already booked flights and hotels. Come on, do the right thing. If you get a ticket, let Andreas have it, because he deserves it. Andreas said it's the second best solution, and the women's team deserves better than getting the second best solution. No, you're right, absolutely. I hope this never happens again. Well, let's hope the lesson has been learned. I mean, I don't really know. It's not necessarily just Arsenal's problem. It's people scheduling Carabao Cup ties on the same week that Women's Champions League games are already scheduled. Seems a bit crazy when there's a possibility this could happen. And I know you can't change everything for something that might not happen, and it has happened, and it's an unfortunate set of circumstances. But lessons need to be learned. Absolutely, Andreas, you're right. We need to learn. The club needs to learn. Everybody needs to learn from this. That if a game's booked at a stadium and tickets have been sold and arrangements have been made for people to get there, you cannot then change it for something else.
It's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. It's a joke.
Yeah, it's like, if they say they booked a concert at the Emirates, right? That concerts happen at the Emirates. We've had concerts there before, right? Say someone, I don't know whoever it was, I don't know, Louis Dunford or whoever it was, right? Books a concert at the Emirates, right? And he books it. Everyone sold tickets. People want to go, and then suddenly a cup tie turns up. And actually, no, sorry, all you fans that bought tickets for the concert. Tough luck. The football's here. That's more important. So we're going to put that on. There'd be absolute uproar because it's the Arsenal women. It's almost like, oh, we can get away with it a little bit because nobody really cares enough. That's what they think. But I think they're wrong. And I think people do care. And I think the backlash of this is going to be enough to make sure that next time any similar situation does not happen again. Let's hope it doesn't. You know, it's ridiculous that we're in this position in the first place. And I do feel a little bit sorry for the club to a certain degree because this was thrown on them a little bit. What do? We've got 2 games now on the same day at the same stadium. How do we sort it out? What I would have done, I would have played the Arsenal Crystal Palace Carabao Cup tie at 2:00 in the afternoon and then played the game in the evening when it was scheduled for. That's what I would have done. And if people want to go watch the Carabao Cup tie, take time off work and go and watch it, fine, do it. Brilliant. No problem.
Yeah, I've got along with that. Yeah.
That's not a bad idea either. Yeah.
For me, it would have been the solution that I would have. If I would have said that, play that at 2:00 in the afternoon, or whatever time you can play it in London during an afternoon on a Wednesday, whatever time you can play the game. That's what I would have done. Played it first, played it early, or even 6 o'clock. Play it R5, play it 5 o'clock, whatever it is, right? Play it then, get it played first, then play the women's game after, or swap them around, whatever it's going to be. You could have played them one after the other, like they do with the Emirates Cup. 2 games.
I was thinking that as well. Emirates Cup, like they do with Emirates Cup.
They could have done that. Not ideal. It's not ideal kicking off at 4:00 in the afternoon when people are at work, but they kick off the Champions League games at only 5:45. So they don't care about that, do they?
Yeah, they do. That's right. They could have done that as well.
They could have done something, I think, and they chose not to. And this is where we are. But anyway, TV rules. They don't want to put a game on TV at 4:15 in the afternoon because no one's going to watch it because people are at work and at school and everything else. So that's why they won't do it. It's all about money. It's not about anything else. We should know this by now, and we should be ready for it. Greg makes a comment about Stina saying 1 goal and 4 offsides. She's getting better. Don't you be knocking Stina, Greg. We'll be having words, mate. I'm telling you. So there you go. You're right. She is offside quite a lot. We agree. Terry says we ain't winning nothing as a club again this season. Playing this way, City, Chelsea will beat us to death. Well, we'll see. We got a draw with Chelsea. We got a draw with City. We were unlucky not to get a draw with Chelsea. So I don't know. Let's see. We're a bit better now as well. So let's have a look and see. Greg says what they should have looked at is which team plays the most attractive football. Win every time. Well, yeah, obviously that they would, and that should have been a consideration, maybe. But unfortunately, it's about money, isn't it? Terry says, "Don't knock all this game change against Bayern. This will be Arsenal's excuse for losing." Who do you think they? No, they won't lose. There we go. Andrea says the Emirates was already booked for Champions League and tickets sold. Exactly. Yeah. The club should have said, sorry, Emirates isn't available for the third-class men's cup. No, you're right. That's what they should have done. Absolutely, they should have done. But that's never going to happen, is it? Because money's more powerful than anything else. And that's what made the decision ultimately. Greg said, now we've qualified, it's a kick around, really. Well, it's not because we can win the group. And winning the group could really be important for the draw. So I would say that, yes, we've qualified, but it's still an important game. And it's, it still needed to be played where it should have been played. Terry says, Ange, I feel for you, Arsenal fans. This club don't care less about the fans. It's all about the spondoolies, money. Well, you're right. I understand.
Well, yes, certainly, especially when you're supporting the women, particularly. Yeah, without doubt.
I think it is anyway. I mean, you look at the Arsenal club, and they're releasing new fashion brands every week.
I can't keep up with that. I want to turn these notifications off, but I can't, can I?
Well, exactly.
Keep to the emails, mate. Yeah.
It's ridiculous, honestly. I mean, it's okay. The club got to make money, and it's a business, and we know it's a business. But I don't know. It seems to be. I don't know. I don't follow other clubs, so I don't know whether other clubs are the same. But it just seems as though we're releasing a new lot of gear every week or every other week now. Okay, we've got to build up to Christmas. They want to sell stuff, all that kind of stuff. We get that, but you don't need to release new stuff all the time. People will buy the stuff you've already got out there for Christmas presents. They will. You don't need to bombard us with it because in the end, what you're going to do is you're going to put people off buying anything because that's what will happen. Because
Actually,
it's too much.
Notifications,
and it's too expensive. I like that new jacket with the old Arsenal badge on, right? I love that jacket. It looks really, really cool, right? The women wore it before a game the other week. The men have worn it. I think it's great. And looks on the website, it's about £100. I'm like, seriously, what are you doing? You know, I just can't believe it. It's a rip-off. It's an absolute rip-off. There's no way it's justified that much money for a jacket, a little tracksuit jacket. It should be about £40, 45 quid at the most, not £100. It's ridiculous. Come on, Arsenal, sort it out. Stop ripping off your fans that will buy anything you release, because some people just buy everything, don't they? You see them in the ground, they just come out the shop, they've got bags full of stuff, right? They'll buy any tat that you release, right? So at least make it cheaper for people. At least make it cheaper. Come on, it's ridiculous.
And
right?
also, probably not being disrespectful, but I certainly couldn't afford to keep up. Well, I've never bought one.
No, I actually couldn't either.
But also, you've got all this Klarna pay and all that stuff. So they're probably not even, certainly when they order it off the website, they're probably spreading over the payments and getting in debt.
Yeah,
of course they are. And Arsenal are encouraging that, and it's wrong. Yes. It's wrong on so many levels, and so many things have happened with Arsenal over the last, I don't know, 10 years or maybe more. And it's little things like this just eat away at you. And you start to question the whole thing. I do. I'm thinking, what on earth is going on? We used to be a football club that was rich in tradition. That was the example for everybody else to follow. You know, the Highbury, the Marble Halls, everything else about the club was something special. And that's what drew me to Arsenal in the first place. All of that history and tradition. And they've just binned it off just to become basically a fashion brand. It's just, honestly, it's annoying.
Yeah, it's not the sponsorship money, and sorry to interrupt you, but it's a great example. I get emails as well from these coffee brands. Like, I couldn't one Lavazza is understandable, and all these. It goes to show how much technology has moved on. You never in the past, maybe the advancement in technology you could maybe make a case, as you've been saying, has been detrimental. But it just goes to show that in this world, money talks, and that sponsorship deals seem more important than the customer, for example.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's never going to happen, but I would 100% support, and I would be there if Arsenal fans decided to put boycott the Armoury shop and stop people going in until Arsenal reduce their prices and stop releasing new gear every 2 days. So that's what needs to happen. The fans need to make their feelings clear. But too many people don't care enough. They're like, oh, well, I'll buy a new jacket because it's nice. I'll just go and buy it. I don't care. Like you said, they'll get it on Klarna. They'll pay £2 a week for the next 5 years. You know what I mean? Ridiculous. Honestly, it is. And things like that just really, really annoy me and upset me about the direction that this club's gone in over the last few years. And I just don't like it. I don't like where the club's going. And the football on the pitch now, for me, more so now, has to be much better to compensate for all the rubbish off the pitch that's been going on in the last few years. Unless it's almost perfect on the pitch, I'm going to get annoyed because I'm thinking I don't like the direction. And, you know, it's just, and I'm not the only one that feels like I've spoken to loads of other people that feel very similar way. And it's unfortunately, it seems to be maybe the older fans that have been turning against the modern club. And that's not what the club should be doing. They should be looking to keep the whole older generation of fans that have followed the club for years and years and years, rather than all they care about is the younger generation that's maybe got more disposable income to throw at the club. That's all they're worried about. And they should care about the people that's been there for years and years and years when no one was there. I was at Highbury once when there was like about 12,000 fans for a game. Do you know what I mean? And there was loads of us there, and a lot of us are still interested now, but the club don't care about us. Because they know they can get 60,000 at the Emirates. They want to put 80,000 in the Emirates because they know they can get 80,000 people to spend their money. And they don't care about people like me and you, and you maybe now I think it's myself, you know what, I can't afford that anymore. I just can't afford it anymore. I'd love to, but I can't. But they don't care because they'll get someone else who can afford it. They'll just get someone else to do it.
Exactly,
so they're not bothered. And it's frustrating because in the old days they were crying out for people like us to go to games, you know, because they had no one else. I say the ground was Highbury was half empty. I was there so many times and it was half empty. And so many of us that were there then now are just so annoyed with what's happening at the club. But, you know, and this whole women's Bayern Munich game situation just sums it all up for me. Sums up where this club is at the minute, where we've been going and where we're heading even further. Worse times are to come. Some people look at it and say it's good times, but it's not. In reality, when you actually break it down, it's actually bad what's happening to modern football in general. I only care about what happens at our club, and it's not great.
It's a results-based business, at the end of the day, isn't it? Yeah.
Well, it is. It's results-based and it's money-based as well. BB says should have kept Highbury as a second stadium. Part of it could have been converted into a sports centre for the locals. Could have been used exactly those kinds of. Now you see, that is. I've said this a long time ago. I said this, but again, money to sell to property developers was worth more money than building a new stadium there or a smaller stadium and having sports facilities. More money was there to sell it to housing, and that's again, it was money that drove that decision. Yes, we had to pay for the new stadium, and that was part of it as well, I suppose. And we have to look at it that way. But you're right, absolutely right. We should have kept. Even if it was, you look at what Man City have done. Okay, yes, the circumstances are different, but they've built a separate women's stadium next door to the men's stadium. They've got academy.
Yeah, that's right.
Everything there, haven't they? It's fantastic. You know, whatever we think of Man City as a club, what they've done with their facilities there is fantastic, and that's the blueprint for me to how to do it. You've got a separate women's stadium, a smaller one next door. You've got all the facilities there all together. And I know we can't do that because we moved to a place where that wasn't possible. Unless they flatten everything around Holloway Road and we can build a new women's stadium next to it and everything else, which would be a great idea, but it's never going to happen. We're kind of stuck in. We couldn't do what they could do, but that's got to be that's the blueprint for me. And I know it's never going to happen. But Terry says a big up for he's a bit brighter today, which is good. Greg says should never have left Highbury, the best brand ever built. Absolutely, of course, we shouldn't have left Highbury. But again, what was the decision behind moving from Highbury? Money, more fans in the stadium, more bums on seats. That was the only reason. And I can remember even in the season when we won league titles at Highbury, the average crowds were less than 40,000, right? And the ground held 60,000. It wasn't even full when we were winning league titles. We didn't need to move.
Capacity was about 40. Oh, I thought it was more about 40. Oh, okay.
Well, it was around about that. It wasn't like obviously the average crowds now are a lot higher. But when we were winning league titles in the 90s, in the 80s, and stuff like that, you know what I mean? Our average crowd was, I think in 91, I think our average crowd was like 41,000 or something, right? So we didn't need to move away from Highbury. We could have developed it so we could get 40,000 fans into Highbury.
Like what Manchester did with Old Trafford, for example. They expanded it to over 70,000 as well, didn't they? Liverpool doing the same with Anfield. We could have done the same with Highbury. That's not a bad shout, actually,
I mean, it would have been more difficult because there's housing around it and all this kind of stuff. The location wasn't exactly ideal, and I know a lot of the residents wouldn't sell their houses and stuff like that. But if you offer people enough money, they'll do it every colour, quite honestly. Absolutely. Terry says, in 47 days, Arsenal have chucked out 4 different modes. How many it is? 4 in 47 days. Wow, it's even worse than I thought. I'm glad you've been keeping track, Terry. Keep this right, because I knew it was a lot. I didn't realise it was 4 different sets of gear in 47 days. Wow, that is incredible. That is incredibly bad, actually. So well done, Arsenal, for that. Terry says, if we're playing so well, why is our attendance going down? Even Chelsea had a bigger crowd than us. How embarrassing. Well, I think there's reasons for that, and I don't think we should look at it individually. Andrea says, Terry, there is still more possible. 47 new merchandise in 4 days. That'll be the 4 days before Christmas. They'll do that, won't they? They'll release loads more stuff. Yeah, don't worry about that. At the end, there's going to be loads more stuff. I'm trying to think of what more they can come up with, because they just come up with nice ridiculous designs, lob it on a jacket, and say, "There you go. That's the new thing." What's this brown one all about? Like a chocolatey light brown. What's that about? That's nothing to do with Arsenal. Why are we selling stuff like that? It's horrible. Come on. So at least the other one's got the old badge on it, and I like that. But I'm not paying £100 for it, no matter how nice it is. Greg says, go back to the shops and bring the price down. Exactly, that's what I would say. Absolutely. Terry says, Lordy, you have a very good point there, and it wouldn't surprise me. Yeah, exactly, it wouldn't. Andrea says, I love this new dark red jacket with the old crest under. Exactly, exactly my fault. When I saw that, I think it was a game, the team were wearing it in a tunnel coming out, and I'm thinking, wow, that is amazing. What a jacket that is. My first thought was to go onto the thing, have a look and see how much it was. I saw the price. I thought, okay, no, I'm not going down that route. Thank you very much. Don't care how nice it is. Unless someone on the channel wants to donate one of those jackets to the channel, that would be not paying for it. So there you go. We'll chip in. What we should do is start a GoFundMe page to buy me one of them jackets. So I'll put £1 in. It's enough.
There's only crowdfunding.
£1 in each, crowdfund it, and we'll get a jacket, and I'll wear it on the Boxing Day show. Whatever. That'd be good. Terry says Arsenal don't want the old fans. They don't spill. Exactly. Yeah, we're too tight, Terry. That's what it is, my friend. We're just too tight. That's why they don't like us. Terry says Arsenal should donate the dark red jacket to Lordy Lordy just for his love. They should donate me one as well. Yeah, it's Lordy Lordy should get one. I should get one as well. I want one.
Yeah, you should get one. He does the show.
Do you want one?
Oh, I don't know. I do get the discount with my old Arsenal vouchers, but I don't know if that will still give me much of the war. So I don't know.
Well, I'll tell you what we should do. We should all get them to wear them on the show, shouldn't we? So what we should do, we should start. Everyone should donate. Everyone who watches the channel should donate the money so we can get 4 of them Arsenal jackets. We can wear them on the show, and that'll be good, won't it? And that'll be really nice and cool. And it'll be a Christmas present. It'll be the Christmas present from you guys to us for the shows. Why don't we do that? That's an idea. But no, actually, don't, because what it means is Arsenal are going to get the money for this crap, and I don't want Arsenal to get the money. So actually, don't do that. Don't do that. I've changed my mind. As nice as it is, unless we get it cheap somewhere off some cheap Chinese website, do it that way. That'd be all right. Fake one. Greg says in the 60s and 70s, didn't need tickets. You just turned up and got in. Exactly. Yeah, they were the days, my friend, weren't they? Well, they were great days, weren't they? I can remember actually. It would have been later than that. It would have been in the 80s probably. Waking up on a Saturday morning, Arsenal was away, I don't know, Man United or Everton or somewhere. You'd wake up on a Saturday morning and think, you know what, let's go to the game. You'd ring your friend. So we go to the game, yeah, make your way to Euston Station or King's Cross, pay £2, whatever it was for a train ticket, the Intercity Express, jump on a train, go up to Liverpool, Manchester, wherever it was, Swansea, somewhere in the middle of nowhere, pay on the gate, go in, watch the game, come home, probably get bottles thrown at you on the way. They were great days, weren't they? And now you've got to plan a game weeks and weeks in advance. You've got to buy a ticket. Can you get a ticket in a ballot or not? I don't know. You might never get one, right? And if you are lucky enough to get one, it's going to cost you £500 to book a hotel, book a train, book days off work, all this kind of stuff. No, we don't need all that. Let's go back to the old days. You can just turn up and play and go in. You remember that, don't you, Ange? You must remember all them days.
That's long gone, isn't it?
Well, it's long gone. It is. That's
sorry, Endo. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a shame, isn't it, really? Terry says Arsenal women should pull away from Arsenal and move to Kent and call themselves just because it'll be on Terry's doorstep then. That's a good idea for Terry. Why don't you let them play in your back garden, Terry? Open up your back garden, let them play there. That'd be good. If you could sit in, have a cup of tea, watching the game from your kitchen, that'd be good, wouldn't it? But no, I mean that actually kind of it appeals to me a little bit, moving away from the men's club completely and setting up on their own. If they can afford to do it one day, why not? I agree, that would be a good idea. Terry says, well, you must have been rich. We used to get the 50p red bus ride. I remember the red bus ride. It was only about £2 to get a train from Euston to Liverpool, wasn't it? Something like that. It was cheap. Maybe it wasn't even less than £2. I can't remember now. It seemed like it was £2. VV says, I went to a match in 1994.
1994.
Day and just turned out and bought a ticket. Yeah, so you could do it then. See, 94. Could you do it in 94 at Highbury because it was all seated then, wasn't it? I still think you needed a ticket maybe then. You sure it wasn't maybe earlier than that when before they brought in all the seats? Because I know it was more difficult to do that. Maybe you still could have done it in 94. I had a season ticket there, so I can't remember. But I know obviously before they had all seats at Highbury, you could literally just turn up and just pay on the gate and go in. Brilliant. Shame that you can't do that anymore, isn't it? But anyway, that's modern. It's modern life, isn't it? You know, things change, and unfortunately, not everything gets better. But one thing that did get better in the end was the game last night in freezing cold conditions. Players has now got some sort of man flu on the back of sitting out in the freezing cold for 2 hours. But we did get the result in the end. And wasn't it nice that Lena Herzig got the goal? Okay, she did score the other week against Brighton, but that goal wasn't as important. For her to come on, get the goal that was such an important goal to qualify us in the last minute of the game. I just thought that, she's missed the chance earlier on that she should have scored for an open goal, put it over the bar. But it was so nice for her. And, obviously, I love Stina. I want Stina to score, but Stina set the goal up, so it almost made it okay. And it was great for Lena to score. She's had so many problems. And it looks as though she's finally getting game time. And maybe she's a slightly better player than we've all given her credit for, because I think we'd all written her off because it never really worked at Arsenal, the injuries and one thing and another. but now we're suddenly starting to see what she can offer. You know, she's good in the air, threat from set pieces, crosses into the box. You know, she won every single header that was played in there. So, and then she got herself in the box. And just before that, before she came on, I think it was it Katie McCabe got down? Oh no, Caitlin Ford got down the wing, put a ball back across the 6-yard box. No one was in there to finish it off. Suddenly we've got Stina on, we've got Lena on. They're in that 6-yard box, ready to finish them chances off. And that's the difference sometimes in these games. And it was a difference last night. And it was great to see. And it wasn't the greatest game overall. We played okay. We got the result we needed. But to win it in the way that we did, to keep going, plugging away and sticking with it and getting the goal, I was just so pleased with really. The frustrations from the first half kind of gone. The second half was better and we found a way to win. But on the downside of that, it was a very Jonas-like performance overall, wasn't it? I mean, Amar, what did you make of the game overall last night? We got the result and that was great and we kept at it, but the football wasn't great, was it?
No, it's funny you should say that. I was thinking exactly the same thing, wasn't it? Being frustrated, not failing to get past the low block. Yeah, where we had this one before. Yeah, but I mean, in the end, you could just say Juventus did so defensively. Let's be honest. Okay, I think after what happened last week, I know we won on the 65th minute and we scored 3 late. You could see maybe after that they maybe wanted to have a bit defensive. But, you know, they always had that threat in there. Maybe they could sneak a goal on the counter. And they almost did, and they almost sucker punched us. And if they'd done that with I think it was in the 75th minute they scored. I'm not sure we'd have come back, and it would have been another thing, go back to bad old days. But you know, when you got a world class goalkeeper in Daphne, you make such a wonderful, just fingertip, just beautiful save around the corner. Again, it just instills the team with so much confidence. They kept on going. Okay, it wasn't the greatest game. Yes, we didn't really look like scoring at all until the substitutions were made second half. Beth came on, Stina could have had one at the end, but. Yeah, I mean, it was too much of the passing was side to side, the reluctance to shoot. And then, maybe Leslie, and the only slight criticism of her I'd have is that she felt she could have busted the gut a bit more to go and get on the end of that cross. But, It's funny. They defended so well. And in the end, they had 4 players around the ball. And then Lena, of course, I mean, it was an absolute sitter, which, let's be honest, some of us, no disrespect to her, we could have some of us could have maybe put our eyes closed. But she made up for it, and it's funny. They had the chance; they should have cleared it, but she wasn't missing, and it's better than never. But I think ultimately our perseverance paid off, didn't it?
It did, absolutely, and you're not going to. And I think somebody mentioned last night in the chat on the show that you're not going to play brilliant football every single game. It's not possible. Nobody does. Man City don't, Chelsea don't. Nobody plays great football all the time. And sometimes you just got to find a way to win a game. And that's what we did last night. And I was actually impressed with that. Yes, the football was frustrating for a long time. A lot of sideways, backwards. We couldn't get through the low block, which is a problem that we've constantly had. And nothing seems to have changed in that respect. But we did keep going, and we kept going and kept going. Yeah. And in the end, I kind of felt in the last 10 minutes, I did feel that we would score. You just felt it was coming. And in the end, we got our reward. Yeah. And you don't always get what you deserve in sport. You don't always get what you deserve in football. But I thought we did last night. And it showed maybe a different side. In the last few weeks, everything's gone so well. We've been scoring goals. We've been winning games easily. We've been playing rock and roll football, if you want to call it that. And it's been great. Whereas last night, it was a totally different type of game. And we still managed to find a way to win. And that's an important feature going forward, because there's going to be lots of games like that this season coming up. A lot of teams will come to the Emirates and defend for their lives, and it's going to be difficult. And we need to find a way to win, and we did last night. And I like that fact. It made me forget all the other boring, frustration stuff that happened before. It made me forget all that, because that was a really good sign. I mean, and it wasn't a great game. I'm glad I wasn't sat in a freezing cold like Andreas watching it. I'm glad I was in the warm. But I mean, what did you make of it? Because it was good that we kept going and got the win in the end, wasn't it?
Well, there's always a little story with me in between the interruption of the lovely neighbour who is having his flat done up, and he couldn't get in through the main door because we got a bit of a dodgy lock. And you go, right, that's another story. So, and he was giving to email like whoever the property people are, and I said, I'm really sorry, but I'm watching Arsenal Women at the moment, and so I did put a note and give him the information I had and apologise. So yeah, I got that interruption, but I hadn't missed much. Yeah, I mean, basically, really frustrating game. It was interesting. What did I do in my notes? Yeah, because
I'm well, Christ, that's a bit organised then.
I should pass myself.
Nice.
At the time, but the BBC, right, according to them, Arsenal 73.6 overall possession and total touches in the box. Arsenal 31, Juve 9.
Wow. I mean, that's domination, isn't it? That's domination, that right now.
It didn't feel like that at times.
No, it didn't.
That's the thing. Yeah.
No, it didn't. It didn't.
And it was a frustrating game. But, and as somebody in your messenger chat said, who seemed a bit doom and gloom, I truly believe this. I said, keep the faith.
Yeah.
And it happened. And
it did happen.
Good old Arsenal, 1-0. And can I go on to Lee?
Exactly.
I have not been her biggest fan. I'm not about hate. I'm a very nice person. There was actually, with that big Arsenal fans forum, when somebody put up what's happened to Lena, has she retired? And I actually put up.
Somebody put in the fans forum as well. That's right.
And I got a bit of backlash for that, but that's. Well, sorry, that's how I felt. Thanks. But I know she's had personal injuries. I would say she's got fabulous hair. The woman has hair.
She does have nice hair. She absolutely does have nice hair.
She's got good hairstyle. Next. But do you know what? I was really pleased for her.
I'm sorry. Same.
Because like yourself, Rich, I've always been big. As soon as Stina hit the scene, I just fell in love with her. Yeah, she's my favorite. I really do. Because she's a bit of a shy horse, bless her. Although she's getting good now, she doesn't have to fall over, does she? She can just go boop. No. And I mean, that was really fine, didn't she? What was it? A couple of headers. And I mean, how long was she on for? When was the substitution? I can't even remember.
I think it was the 80th minute or something.
Yeah, exactly. So she wasn't on for long. And boom, she was there.
No, she wasn't. Yeah, she wasn't on for long, no.
So, no, and quite rightly, she got player of the match. Yeah, fully deserved.
You got player of the match? Oh, I didn't know that. Fair.
Well, for Arsenal.
She did. Yeah. On the Arsenal website, she did.
Yeah, that's it.
Bearing in mind a public vote on that, so I wouldn't necessarily take that too seriously. But
I don't.
She made an impact, and that's the most important thing. She wasn't the player of the match, but she made an impact.
Yeah, big time.
Yeah, she did, and she generally does. Terry says, "Come on, Richard, good in the air. She had 5 headers and missed a target 5 times, all inside the 6-yard box. Is she taking lessons from 29?" I mean, what I mean by being good in the air is she wins headers. And okay, yes, a lot of them went over the bar. We know that last night, and one of them went wide and stuff like that. But she's winning headers, and she's a danger. And the more you put balls in the box, the more headers she wins, it's going to lead to stuff happening eventually. Very much, she was only on for 10 minutes. And look she won 5 headers in 10 minutes. That's a good effort, even though they didn't go in, many of them. But it's a different, you need to have a plan B. You need to have a different option. Lena gives us a different option. And I think in certain games, it's going to be really, really useful. Last night, it proved to be the difference, what gave us the 3 points, having her on the pitch. And I think it's a great player to have in your squad that gives you an option. If the men's team had a centre forward who was like her as an option, it would help us massively. I'm not saying she's the greatest player in the world. No, she's not. And I'm still not convinced she's maybe good enough to be a starter in the team every week. No. But off the bench in certain games, at certain points in certain games, she can be a real threat and a real danger. She's a useful player. If we can keep her happy doing that role, she would be a fantastic player to keep in the squad. And I think she'll win us a lot of games late on by coming off the bench and doing what she did last night. And yes, she could have scored more goals. But ultimately she got the winning goal at the end, and that's what matters, isn't it? Andrea says it was a game that was crying for a 0-0. It was, but it's so deserved that we won. 71% ball possession. Juve was only relying on 1 lucky strike. Fortunately, we had Daphne in goal. What a save again! Yes, I mean, it was an incredible save. It really was, And I think I don't know whether Tim Stillman had made the point about the save she made against Tottenham that Manu wouldn't have saved it. There's no way Manu would have saved that one.
No, I agree with that.
She would never have saved it, and it would have been 1-0 to Juventus, and they'd have probably won the game because and that late stage it would have been tough. But Daphne is Daphne. She does what Daphne does, and that is why we bought her. That is why she's now number 1. And Manu Zinsberger probably isn't going to play very often. Carabao Cup maybe he might be limits this season now, I would imagine. And Terry said, "I can't wait to play one good game. We've had a few good games. What about Brighton? That was a good game, wasn't it? What about Juventus away? That was a good game. Andrea says, I'm absolutely sure
Oh, no,
Manu watching.
come on.
Absolutely, yeah. 100%.
I think she would have probably fingertipped into the corner. If you would have got fingertips, would have gone in, I think. But,
I don't think she would have dived. I honestly don't think she would have had the reactions quick enough to have dived. And, okay, yeah, the shot wasn't hit with power. It was hit with accuracy into the corner. But I don't think Manu would have had the reactions to have got down and made the save at all. I don't think she would have done. I think she would have been standing on her feet and watched it roll past her in the goal. That's what she would have done. Absolutely. And that's what the difference Daphne makes. And that's why Daphne is so important to us. If we're going to do anything this season, it's going to be because of that and more than anything. Terry says, under the management, it won't be long before we turn into the men's team and top four become. Well, it has to be top three, wouldn't it, in the women's game? Because top four is not. If you come fourth, you've had it, haven't you? Top four is no good. It has to be top three. Greg says, like all the Swedes in our team, good impact players when the opposition tired, but not good enough to start.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Don't you be calling Stina in that? Don't you be sort of putting Stina in with that bracket? Because Stina should be starting every single game. In fact, I'd play Stina ahead of everybody else. You'd be the first name on the team sheet. Stina, you're playing. Wow. Don't care where you play. Just play. You're going to play because you're Stina. And that's what it should be. Terry says, Lena was on for 10 minutes too long. Well, she wasn't, was she? She scored the winning goal. So she was on for the right amount of time because she scored the goal. And, I agree with Ange. I'm not convinced by her at all. I never have been. Mm-hmm. I remember watching her play for Sweden before we signed her. The summer we signed her, and I'm thinking, that was in the Euros, and I'm thinking, why have we bought this player? Is she really good enough? And obviously she's been injured a lot, and we haven't seen much of her, and I'm still not convinced by her, but I think she's a good impact and a good plan B, and I like that. So I'm happy to keep her for the time being, and let's see how it works. But yeah, I was delighted for last night, and I'm delighted that we won the game. We've qualified. We're in the quarterfinal. The Champions League, we lost 5-2 to Bayern Munich a few weeks ago, and I thought that was it. We were out. Nothing was going to happen instead. And now, look, we've qualified, and we're only a point behind Bayern Munich with 2 games left.
True.
2 games to spare. 2 games to spare. It's not even like we scraped through like we've done in the past. We've done brilliantly. We've done brilliantly. We've scored 9 goals in those last 3 games, conceded only 1, and brilliant stuff.
Yeah. And that's right.
Oh, sorry, can I just say, because I've forgotten about this kind of because we've been on this good run, but basically we've started from scratch, haven't we?
Yes, we have.
With the initial games, qualifiers, right down there, and we've got through that. Yeah. And we're now we're in the quarterfinals, and with the possible, and also, most importantly with Bayern, if we can get top of the group, great, it will help. But also, it's like, sorry, we need a win off. You humiliated us, not this coming time round. No way. And I think you're right. Meadow Park will be the perfect place to do it.
Yeah,
it will. And that's the other positive for me is that I know we beat Bayern Munich at the Emirates a couple of years ago when Frida Minor scored that amazing goal. But I think at Meadow Park we've got much more. We've got a much better chance of beating them playing there. And that's the real positive for it. Because we're so good at Meadow Park, we always have been, and our record there, we don't lose many games here, do we? We don't lose at all very often. So I think we can definitely beat them there at Meadow Park. So that's going to be good. And imagine winning the group. And you're right, Ange. We had to start, didn't we? We had the qualifiers, which we got through, and there was all them extra games, and then we lost the Bayern Munich in that opening game, and you think it could all go wrong so quickly. And now we're in the quarterfinals of the Champions League again. That's the 3rd time we've qualified, and with the 3rd in the group stage, and the 3rd time we've got into the quarterfinals. So that's great, and we need to keep doing it.
Sorry to interrupt, Rich. Just a quick one on that. Is it in? I don't know. I know it's, of course, we know that, as you know, next season is going to be the league phase, which you have in the Men's Champions League, which again is not everyone's cup of tea. But is it an open draw? So I'm just thinking, if we don't win our group, is there a possibility we could face Chelsea or City in the quarterfinals?
Oh, I don't think we can. I think in the semi-final we could.
I think it's semi, isn't it? Because it's not made it clear. I looked on the website. It didn't say. I thought I assumed from when I read it online last night that it's an open draw. But I don't think you can draw a club from your own federation, can you?
I don't think so. I'm not 100% certain. I believe we couldn't. I've not checked it really, actually. But
I'd have to check. Somebody will know. But I couldn't imagine we'd draw Chelsea or City.
Maybe let's get Chelsea over 2 legs. Let's get Chelsea.
No, not yet. No.
I think we could beat them. Honestly, I think we could beat them over 2 legs. I do. Bearing in mind that's not going to be till the new year when we play those games. And I think we'll be in a much stronger place then anyway. So I
Let's
don't know.
save it for Lisbon. Let's all start planning that for Lisbon. I'm joking.
Whoever we get in a quarterfinal of Champions League, it's going to be a tough game, isn't it? Because every team's going to be good. It's going to be difficult. So we're going to have to beat whoever we have to play if we're going to get to the semi-final again. So let bring it up. Whoever we get, bring them on. I'm not bothered about playing anyone.
Absolutely. I'm not bothered either.
We can beat anybody. I really do. Aggie's with us. She says, "Good evening, Arsenal fans. Good evening from Sweden. Hope you are doing well. Obviously, enjoyed last night's game. I know." Terry says, "We didn't deserve nothing from last night. I'm glad we won, but I'm fed up watching crap football and scraping through." But sometimes it's going to happen, isn't it? We can't win 6-0 every single game. I know you predict we're going to win 6-0 every game, but in reality, we're never going to win 6-0 every game. I say sometimes we have to scrape through. We do have to scrape through. There's nothing wrong with scraping through. If you scrape through enough games in a season, you end up winning lots of things because that's how you do it. You're not always going to win 4 or 5-0 because that's not how football works. Andrea said, Stina is miss offside. Sorry to say this, I like her, but for me, she's not a starter ahead of Leslie. No, don't you start as well. What's everyone looking on Stina tonight for her? Try, she got an assist last
the golden English girl.
What's going on? Come on, what's going on here? What's going on? I mean, she is offside a lot, but I blame the fact that no one passes it to her quickly enough. She makes a great run, and someone holds onto the ball too long. Look at the goal against Tottenham. What happened? Mariona played the ball first time to her. She's clean through, scores a goal. Last night she was clean. We should have scored. That wasn't a great finish. I'll give her that. That wasn't great. But should she start ahead of Leslie? I don't know. I think she's more of a goal threat than Leslie. I think she'll always score more goals. If she starts, she'll score more goals. Is she a better all-round player? No, probably not. But I don't care. I don't care if she's a better player or not. Honestly, I don't. I just want her in the team because she's a goal threat and I just think she's brilliant and I love her and I want to see her on the pitch. She's no good sitting on the bench, is she? Because it's no good sitting down there. You need to be on that pitch, make an impact on the game. And that's what I want to see her doing. But yeah, she's not going to start ahead of Leslie. That's obvious. Leslie's a starter every single game, isn't she? We know that. And, she probably deserves to start.
Tired last night. She looked very tired.
She did look very tired. And I'm surprised she lasted as long as she did. I'd have took her off a bit sooner. I know we haven't got a game coming up. The Lioness have got a game next week, but it doesn't affect us. I would have took her off maybe earlier and saved her legs. But she played most of the game in the end, didn't she? She only came off at the end when obviously when Lena came on, and it was Lena extra energy that won us the game. And they'd done that earlier. We might have got a goal earlier and made a bit more of a relaxing last 10 minutes. Greg says that's the problem. They all look good in Sweden. Even Zins would look good in their league.
Come on.
Oh, I don't think Aggie will like you saying that. At all. Why so negative? Well, exactly, we don't have to be negative. Greg says, well said, Andreas. We need players who can concentrate and be able to hold the ball up. Well, no, I think Stina's very, very underrated. I've always said this.
No,
anyway. Andreas says, I think it's an open draw in a quarterfinal. Yes, we will surely draw Chelsea. If it's open draw, we'll definitely get Chelsea. There's no doubt.
Yeah, there you go. Right.
No, we'll get. Howard, I'm just thinking, if we do finish, I'm looking at it right now. If you look at the standings, so I think who's current to Chelsea are going to win their group. I think, Barcelona will probably, unless City get a draw, Barcelona's goal difference is far superior to City. So it'll be either, as it stands, it'll be either Chelsea, Barcelona, or Lyon, wouldn't it?
Yeah, we might win our group though. Yeah.
Or if we win our group, then that would be even better. Then who could we face if we? But then we could get City. You could get. If we get. But Real Madrid would be tough as well. I don't know. I probably want to win the group. Yeah, then we could get Real Madrid, possibly Wolfsburg or City. So who knows?
I wouldn't be bothered about playing City over 2 legs. I'm not frightened of City at all. I'm not frightened of them whatsoever. We beat them twice last season. I think we could beat
Wolfsburg. Real Madrid are probably the toughest out of those 3 if we were to win the group. Wolfsburg, had we had the full team in that semi-final, we'd have been in the final. Let's be honest. We don't fear Wolfsburg either, to be fair.
See, that's the other thing as well. I mean, people have been criticising Stina, right? And I understand the points, and I'm not going to say Stina's the greatest player in the world. She isn't. I just happen to really like her. But if you remember that 2 seasons ago, when we had all the injuries, she was playing game after game after game. Yeah, she was scoring so many big goals. That game against Wolfsburg, that semi-final at the Emirates, she scored that early goal to put us in front. She had a goal wrongly disallowed. She would have got another one. She was brilliant that night, and she was brilliant so many games in the away leg against Wolfsburg when she got the equaliser. She got big goals when she was playing regular. She's not playing regular now. She hasn't got any flow. So, of course, her first touch sometimes doesn't look great. And sometimes she isn't going to look as good as Leslie's look because Leslie's starting every single game. Leslie's in the flow. Leslie's in the rhythm. Stina's not. When she was 2 seasons ago, she was playing every week before we signed Leslie. Stina was absolutely brilliant. She was our best player in the second half of the season by an absolute mile. She was, and she didn't get the credit she deserved, and she's almost been cast aside because Leslie Russo's joined us, and I like Leslie Russo. I think she's brilliant, right? And I love her. But Stina's been very, very underappreciated since Leslie's come because everybody now thinks Leslie's the best thing ever, and she's not. She's good. She's very good, but she's not. She's not an elite level striker. She's not. I'm not saying Stina is either, but Stina's a goal scorer. Stina will score you more goals than Leslie Russo will score if they play the same amount of minutes.
Possibly.
And you know what, Rich? Some things I won't agree with you, but I'm going to go with that one.
Thank you.
Yeah,
and I know you're a big fan of Stina as well.
Fair point.
And I do think she's very, very underrated. I would say she's one of the most underrated players that there is.
Very underrated.
When you're talking about, when you hear people talking about the WSL and the strikers and everything else, she's never ever got a mention. Never. She's been our top scorer the last 2 seasons, 18 goals in each season, right? She played her 100th game last night. She scored 45 goals. And how many games has she started at them 100? She probably hasn't even started 50, right? Because she's on the bench all the time. She's got 45 goals. That's an incredible record.
Yeah, it is. It really is.
Let's give her the credit she deserves, shall we? Can we start? Yes, okay, she's offside 50 times a game, right? That's fine. Not fine a lot, right?
Well, look, she gets a goal, it don't matter,
It doesn't matter, exactly. She keeps making those runs. And she plays off percentages. If you make that run 10 times, you're offside 9 times. The one time you're not offside, you're clean through on goal and you're going to score. Yeah. And that's how she plays the game, and I like that. And that's a sign of a top striker. Because some strikers would think, I've been offside twice, I'm not going to make the run next time. But she keeps making the run. And yes, you'll be offside again and again. It doesn't matter because the one time she's not, she scores. Or she'll set up a goal like last night. Brilliant that was to set up that goal. What she did over on that far side, crossing that ball, it's brilliant work. And that's what she can do. The brilliant goal against Tottenham that she scored, the brilliant goal against Juventus she scored the week before. She's so underrated. So let's just have 5 minutes to appreciate Stina Blackstenius because she deserves it. And I'm not having no one saying nasty things about her.
No, too right. I'll back you up on that one.
No, I agree with that as well. I second that too.
Right. That's good.
She's so underrated. Terry says, we played our best game against Bayern and they ripped us. Well, no, we played a good first half against Bayern. We played better away at Juventus. Greg says, Barcelona would be best for us. They are so open. That's true. That's probably true. But they've also got the players that can hurt us as well. That's the other thing.
I really don't want to. It's a bit like, what's her face? The woman not getting. No, the manager. We're not having her. But I don't want to hear the Barcelona word at this moment. Because I've got a name for them, but I won't say it on air. I do not want to hear about them. Not yet.
No. Okay.
Because they're too damn good. And yeah, they have got the players. Big time.
Yeah, they have. I mean, we played them in the group stage a couple of years ago. They beat us comfortably both times, and it was a little bit embarrassing, if we're honest. But I think we've improved since then. And I think we'd be more able to give them a much better game. I wouldn't really want to play them necessarily, but unless it's in the final, probably. But I don't know. Yeah, but I don't know. Yeah, I maybe wouldn't want to necessarily play them quite yet. Andrea says, Terry, you're so negative tonight. I nearly don't recognise you. It's because there's no game to predict the score of. That's why. I bet you if we had a score to predict, it'd still predict 6-0. I bet you. Aggie says, Russo and Stina are both very good. No, absolutely. Yeah, well, I do love Leslie Russo, right? And I don't want anyone to think I don't. I'm just slightly annoyed.
Type of forwards. What was explained to me, was that Stina is very much an Ian Wright type, good old-fashioned striker. Whereas Russo, there's so much more to, and both of them are fantastic workhorses. They just keep going. But they've got a totally different style. So actually, the comparisons we shouldn't even be making.
No.
But I just think the agreement is she should be getting more game time, Stina.
Yes.
Yeah, it's only a comparison because they're both playing in the same position. They're not the same sort of player, but they play in the same position. That's why the comparisons are there. But I mean, you're absolutely right. They're both great players, and I think sometimes part of me won't allow myself to appreciate Russo as much as I should because she's taking Stina's place in the team, and that's annoyed me a little bit because Stina doesn't deserve to be cast aside like that. And she was at, the goals that she got the season before we signed Russo. Meant she deserved more respect, and she hasn't really got that. And that's what annoys me. And I do love Russo; she's a great player, and I don't want to say anything else. But it just sometimes annoys me that she's always in the team. Stina's always on the bench, and they can both play together. They can both play together, and we can rotate because Stina's good enough to be able to rotate sometimes and leave Lucy on the bench, give her a rest sometimes, and let Stina have a few games to start. And which she's good enough to deserve that, and she's worked hard enough to deserve that. She's done enough. 45 goals in 100 appearances, of which most have come from the bench, is an impressive record. You know, and I'd like to see. That's all I want, really. I'm not, you know, I don't think Stina's stop every game, but she absolutely deserves more time.
I'm sorry, can I just say as well? I don't get to go to that many games, but particularly at the Emirates. But when Stina comes on, she gets a very loud cheer.
Oh, she does, 100%. Yeah, that's great to see. That's great.
And I think Arsenal fans appreciate it, although some of them seem not to as much as they should.
Well,
but you're right. But I do think whenever anybody mentions the WSL at strikers, and she never gets a mention ever. Never gets a mention. And I think she's as good a striker she's as good a finisher as anybody in the WSL. And if she played every week, she would score 25 goals a season. Absolutely,
possibly,
no
I think so.
And that's a decent, and that makes her a top striker. And I think that she deserves more credit. And Aggie says Amanda on her way back next year. Yeah, Amanda Illestad as well. Another Swede, of course, may well be playing next year. I think she will. She'll be back. I think she'll be back.
And the age, not so sure.
No, yeah, I think so. I think she'll be.
I'm not convinced.
I love these girls, but I'm an Arsenal fan. If these girls or management ain't up to the job, they've got to go. I'd only keep DVD, Stina, and Fox.
What?
Put the rest on probation or sell. I mean, I think that's a bit harsh, Terry. Come on, mate.
Do you know, he likes to wind us up, doesn't he?
He's the wind-up legend. Yeah.
I've got that.
Yeah, I mean, yes, I mean, you can't blame the current manager for the start to the season that we had because she wasn't in charge then. And she can only do, and the girls now can only do work with what's left of the season. We can't go back and play those games again.
No, exactly. We can't.
So we have to forget that that's gone. Look at what's happening now, and things are a lot better now. Yes, I still we come on to the manager in a minute, but I you know, things are a lot better now, and I don't think we can look and say, well, these players aren't good enough. I think over the last few games they've proved they're good enough, and on occasions over the last 2 seasons they've proved they're good enough. And I think just with a few tweaks here and there, we're not far away. We wasn't far away last season. We wasn't far away the season before. You know, we've been a bit unlucky, a bit unfortunate, and we can get it right with the players that we've got and with the coaching staff that we've got. I don't think there's major problems, and I don't think we're that far away.
No, we're not.
Terry said, I agree with this. Though. Terry said we should be building our team around Stina. Absolutely, I would build my house around Stina. Is what I would do. Obviously we can't. So, but no, you're right. I agree. But remember, most of her goals last season were in a Conti Cup against lesser teams.
No, they scored against City and Chelsea. Don't forget. Scored against Chelsea.
She scored in the final. She got the winner in the final. She got a hat-trick in the semi-final. You know, and the season before as well. You got to remember, she started a lot of games and she played in all the competitions. She scored lots in the Champions League. She scored in the Champions League last season. You know,
I think
she scored in the Champions League this season. I think that's a bit hard. I think if you want to look at a player that scores against lesser teams, look at Bunny Shaw. She get 4 goals against some rubbish. Or look at Sam Kerr. She'll score 6 goals against Brighton when they were bottom of the league, and she doesn't score too many in the bigger games. And that's you know, you could say that about many people. Stina does score goals against the lesser teams. But she also scores in big games. You can look at all the big games she scored in: Champions League semi-final, both legs, 2 Continental Cup finals, 2 Continental Cup semi-finals. You know, she scored big goals in big games for Arsenal. So, you know, yes, she scored
away twice last season as well, don't forget.
Yeah, exactly. El Loco says Stina is underrated, which is why she wanted to leave in the summer. But Russo starts because she's on bigger wages and has stardust. These things. Well, no, you're right. You're right. What you say, absolutely, you're right. But Stina is definitely underrated, but not here. So if Stina, if you want some love from the fans, come on this show because we'll show you much love. Greg says, don't give her more game time. Stina is Swedish. Leslie is English for our national team. Well, no, Leslie can play for England. That's fine all the time. That's brilliant. But when it's Arsenal, Stina deserves her time. Terry says Stina don't get a mention in the WSL top strikers because we don't win nothing. Yeah, maybe that's a point as well. If her goals won us the Champions League or won us the WSL, she'd probably be looked on in the same bracket as those strikers that do that. Yeah, maybe you're right. Aggie says, well, a team is 11 players. It is 11 players, yeah. It's 10 players plus Steen is what it is. That's actually what it is. Terry says Renee has changed our playing style. Just got lucky sometimes. Well, I don't know. You mean hasn't changed? Well, okay, yeah, she hasn't really changed it. El Loco says Amanda Willis is coming back as a wife, the only wife in our team. Boyfriend proposes, but I don't think she's the only wife, is she? Because didn't Manu get married last summer?
Yes, Manu got married as well. Yeah.
I know she married a woman, but she still got married, so she's still a wife. And I think there's one or two others I think may well be married. I'm not sure, actually. I'm not sure if they're married or not. Anyway, Andreas says Amanda will leave in the summer. She might.
I don't know about that. I don't want to.
Yeah, I can see it. She's of a certain age now. Playing. I mean, I don't. She's definitely early 30s. She's had a baby. I don't think she's going to be in a hurry to come back, personally.
No, probably not.
Yeah, I mean, but it's
realistic. I could be wrong. I could be very wrong, but I don't think so.
Andreas says Lena is married. Manu too.
Married.
And I think as well, isn't Frida Marnham married as well? Because she's now her surname Leonardson Marnham, isn't it? So I think she's married as well. Maybe there are a few that are married. Aggie says Lena Hurtig is a wife and mother. Soon to 2 kids. Well, there you go. You see, Aggie would know being Swedish. So there you go. So yeah, she's not the only wife, but there's a few, isn't there? And there's a few. So, but yeah, I mean, it's will she come back? I don't know. I mean, if it was you, Ange, obviously, you know, you're a woman, so maybe you can give us more of a perspective on that. if you was a football player and you just had a baby, would you be in a rush to come back and play football, or would you think actually, you know what, I'm going to enjoy being a mother for a bit longer?
Well, I was lucky enough to do that in my real life, and certainly didn't have good what they've got. And I was, of a certain age when I become a mummy. And I was fortunate enough that I didn't have to go back to work.
But would you have wanted to?
No, no, I wouldn't. No, bottom line, no. Yeah, to answer that question. I just feel there's the factor with her age. Yeah, she's first time mum. I'm not saying she's pulling a fast one on Arsenal, but I just think.
I think you're right.
I do follow on Instagram, and I'm seeing the lovely little family photos. All I'm saying is, I'll be surprised if she comes back personally. If she does,
you might be right. You might be right, and I do think that I think Arsenal supported her as they had to do, as it was the right thing to do. But you might be right. I mean, it's different, isn't it? I know having a job as a sports person is different to a normal job that we all do, and it's not quite the same. I mean, I wouldn't go back to work if I didn't have to, but if I played football, I'd be quite happy to go in every day and play football. So it's slightly different, I suppose. But I think being a mother does make a massive difference, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nice. Oh, what happened? It's how she feels. She wants to give them to me. I was fine before. You don't get that time back when your kids are babies and that, dear. So maybe she might want to spend time doing that. She's played football. She's done lots of things in her career. Maybe now's the time to move on. I don't know. But Aggie seems to think she will be back. El Loco's made a bit of a controversial comment there. Amanda will be a proper wife, not the closet like Lena and Frida. I mean, everyone's entitled to be. You can't help who you fall in love with, can you? And it's the way it is.
Rainbow laces and all of that next.
Yeah, exactly. Terry said, didn't Catley get married in the summer to her boyfriend?
She's engaged. I think she's engaged. I don't think she's married. I think she's engaged.
I think she's engaged. Yeah.
Or engaged, maybe. Yeah. I mean, again, she's got a lot of stuff on Instagram. Her and her fella. I love Steph Catley. Actually, I think she's brilliant as well.
She's a brilliant.
Greg says Amanda was good in the air but slow. We really don't need her. We've got an abundance of great central defenders. No, we have. You're right. We have got a great lot of central defenders now, but I still liked her. I thought she did well. Aggie says Amanda will be back. Well, let's hope so. That's rubbish that mothers can't. But no, I'm not saying mothers can't. I'm just saying that would she want? Does she have the same motivation to play football now she's had a baby? That's the key to any sportswoman who has a baby. I think, have they got the motivations for the training that's involved and all that kind of stuff, the travel and all this kind of stuff? Has she got the motivation to do that with a young baby? I don't know. Maybe she has. We'll soon find out, I'm sure. Aggie gives El Loco the thumbs down for that comment there about getting married and stuff, which is fair enough, I suppose. Everyone's entitled to an opinion. It's a free world. And Terry says, I love Arsenal, and look how bad they are. We're not that bad, are we?
What have you been watching anyway?
Greg says, I think it's wrong getting paid a lot of money sitting at home watching Thomas the Tank Engine. Well, it's the ideal job, though, isn't it, Greg? Surely you would. I'd love to get paid to watch Thomas the Tank Engine. I love Thomas.
I never did.
No, I never got paid to watch it.
Other cartoons are available.
No, but Thomas the Tank Engine, we all love Thomas the Tank Engine, don't we? Does Ringo Starr still do it? I've not watched it.
I don't know.
It used to be Ringo Starr, didn't it? I used to
It did actually, yeah.
El Loco says, I wish Renee will be bold enough to play the youngster Vivian Leah. What a terrific player and a gem. She could easily be
Saka.
That's an interesting comment, isn't it? Could she be the next Bukayo Saka for the women? I don't know. I think Katie Reid's another good young player as well.
Katie Reid, I was going to say.
We haven't, I don't think we're in a position, or we haven't been, to throw youngsters in yet because of the pressure we've been under to turn the season around. Whether that'll happen later in the season or not, we'll have to see. But I'd like to see some more youngsters playing a bit more. Yeah, of course. We love seeing our young players come through, but you have to do it at the right time, don't you? But Vivian Leah being compared to Bukayo Saka is interesting. I like that. We'll have to see how that one develops over the next couple of years, won't we? It's a big comparison, that though, isn't it?
Good youngsters, we have some great youngsters as well.
That's an interesting comment. I'd put Michelle before Viv. Personally,
possibly even also other than Layla Hubbard is a player too.
It's a different position.
Yeah, you got Layla. Yeah,
we've got a lot of good young players. Actually, we have got a lot of good young players at the minute.
Yeah, we do.
Let's see how they go. Aggie likes Kafaji, of course. Because she's Swedish. Of course, you can like that. Absolutely. We love Kafaji as well. She did well last night when she came on. I thought as well. Showed some bravery on the ball. She's prepared to take people on, and if she loses the ball, she loses the ball. But at least she's looking to make something happen, and I quite like that. So I think she's got a big future, Kafaji. She just needs a bit more time to develop. Yeah. And she had a good game last night. And of course, last night could be, or maybe not, the last game in charge for our new superstar manager. Now, it's quite interesting, this, and it's obviously been mentioned a lot in the last few weeks because of how well we've been playing. Should Renee get the job full time now? Has she done enough? Has she earned the right to be given the job full time? And obviously, there's an argument to say she has. Look at the results. Look how well we've played most of the games. And then you've got the other side of it to say, well, are we doing much different to what we were doing in the last 2 or 3 years under Jonas, which didn't work? Is it just because maybe she's coming with slightly different approach to 1 or 2 little things? It's made a few little tweaks. Is that going to be sustainable long term to turn us from being almost of the team to being a team that can win things? I'm not convinced that that's the case. I'm enjoying Renee. I like her. I think she, the girls seem to like her. You can see the improvements in the results, but I'm not convinced long term. I'd like to see a complete breakaway, get a top manager in like Chelsea did. They lost Emma. They got in Sonia Bonpasta, who's the best manager there was out there. We need to do the same, I think. But Renee's done a great job. I love her, but I'm not sure it's going to be the right decision to keep her long term. I mean, Emma, what do you think? She's done well. You can't knock what she's done, but is she the right one now to be given it full time?
I mean, there's no rush to appoint a new manager. Everyone thought, I know you're right. We don't. Okay, I know we talk a lot about maybe Man City rejects. I know, but I don't know where all the Cushing nonsense came from in the end. I thought, if he's happy in America, why is he going to come here? Everyone say, who's going to be next? Go Carla Ward. Case. There's been names thrown out there, but when you see what the job she's done, I think, maybe not a permanent manager, but at least keep her on for now because there's only 4 games after Christmas. There's no rush, as everyone's saying. I think she's on the time to at least take this squad a bit further. Maybe not for like as many years as I don't know, like Emma Hayes or as you say with Sonia, but. Yeah, I mean, for now, to at least get us back to where we want, and let's just give her. I think we should give her at least a few more months. I don't know. Everyone's saying end of the season. Yeah, I don't see why not. At least, but maybe. I don't know about end of the season, but at least for the time being, maybe until at least the new year to see how she gets on, and we'll see what happens. But I don't think there's any hurry. We're playing great. You can see the record now. What's it? We played 7, won 6, drawn 1, scored 20 goals, and conceded only 2. She's clearly doing something right. The players definitely seem a lot more freed up under, whereas before it seemed as if they were being shackled and not being able to produce their best. So, I mean, there is no hurry. I know I keep on saying it, but I don't know what else what more there is to say really, because when you see what she's done, there's been an amazing transformation in just over a month and a half. So give her at least a few more games, and then we'll see where it takes us. But for now, I mean, I think we should keep her, I would say.
It's difficult to find an argument against that. I've got to be honest at this moment in time. I mean, all I would say is I made a comment on one of the forums the other day as well when someone talked about it. It's like this time last year we won 10 games in a row under Jonas, and we wasn't able to push that on and carry on and go on and have a great. Yes, we won the cup, but we still fell away in the league after that and stuff like that. And we're on a good run again now. Is this going to be sustainable for the rest of the season? We don't know. And I think it's a little bit of an unknown with Renee in terms of, she hasn't, she's managed before in Sweden, but she hasn't managed at what I would consider a top club, and she hasn't got that. And not necessarily that you always need that, but I don't know, I maybe would prefer that to be the long-term thing. But maybe to the end of the season, see how we do this season might not be a bad option. I think she maybe deserves that. What she's done. I mean, Ange, I know you'd probably like to give her the job permanently, wouldn't you, forever?
Die quietly, Em. Sorry. That'll teach me.
Don't be dying on the show, is that what that was?
Yeah, sorry. He said, no, I'm still here. Right, well, I'm actually going to say give it to the end of the season because I don't actually think there is. But I hear what you're saying. I mean, we've had a laugh about the whole Emma thing. It was a laugh. It really was. Next. And yeah, in the long term, if that's what Arsenal are going to do, then get as good as you can get. But I don't think that's happening at the moment. And also, there is the whole director of whatever you call it, Edu's job that's up for grabs. And I don't quite how it works to appoint a new head coach. So there's that little side of it. Yeah, I'm going to say keep it through the end of the season. And I hear also what you said, that Jonas had a really good run. And but something else that was pointed out to me, that because I've watched when I can, I've watched a few of her press conferences, and one thing she said that she'd like to stay at Arsenal. She's not giving the game away, but someone who I know very well pointed out to me, she has already said she speaks individually to the players. They get her. New head coach, they're not going to like that. She'll be gone.
I mean, I don't know. I mean, sometimes the new manager comes in and they look at the coaching staff that's there and think, you know what, I can get a lot of benefit from keeping them involved. And maybe whoever, if we do get a new manager in, they might look at it and think, you know what, Renee does get on really well with the players. She used to work with the players more when she was the coach under Jonas. Maybe that's a good role for us to stay in. Should we get a new manager? And she'd be happy to do that, I'm sure. But sometimes a manager wants to bring in their own staff, don't they? The whole lot. And that's understandable as well. I mean,
it's how big their ego is. Sorry.
Absolutely.
That's what it boils down to at this point.
Absolutely. 100%. Absolutely. You're right.
I would really like her to stay. I mean, to be honest, I didn't even know she was the assistant coach. All I ever saw was that chap. Isn't he Australian? With an Italian.
Aaron. He's been there since the days of.
He seemed a really nice chap, actually, and he seems to be still having the ball now. But I didn't realise just how many. But it goes back to the old days. I mean, you had your manager, you had your assistant, you had a goalkeeping coach, and that was it, wasn't it? Whereas now, how many do you have?
Yeah. No, you're right.
I would like to see her stay because she's obviously really enjoying it. And once again, it's going to be down to if they get this new person in. And I'm sorry, it'll be their ego. Sorry.
I think you're right. Absolutely, 100% is. I mean, I think to be a manager, you need to have a certain ego anyway. I think it's important to be able to do the job. You have to. You can't doubt yourself. Otherwise, you're never going to get anywhere, are you? A big mistake if Renee goes. I think if she leaves completely, it could be. I'm not necessarily sure about the manager position. Andrea says we have to rotate in the new year. We stay in the Champions League. FA Cup starts in January. League Cup will enter in a quarter-final. Renee is always starting the same team. What was okay to get results and find confidence. I agree with that. We needed to restore some confidence and faith. We needed to get the team gelling a little bit better, and she's done all of that, all of those things. You know, when Jonas left, we were in. It was a mess. It looked like it was a mess.
It was a mess.
We needed her to come and steady the ship, and that's what she's done. And she's done it really well. And everybody seems to have responded to her in a positive way, and that's been great. But is that a long-term thing for the future of the club? I'm not convinced it is. I do think she maybe deserves to the end of the season just to see what she can produce. Because, like Andreas rightly says, we've got the Champions League now, the knockout stage to come. We've got the FA Cup, and we've got the Continental Cup, which we've won the last 2 seasons in a row. We've got a lot still to play for, right? We can't just write the season off because the WSL title's probably gone. We can't say, well, let's just forget this season. No, we've still got 3 trophies that are really important that we can win. And we want to try and win as many.
Can I just interrupt? But that's when she's going to have to say, and I think she's capable of it personally. But I won't mention the men's manager. We won't start Rich off on that one. But she will have to rotate then, because my knowledge of football is so limited. But yeah, I get at the moment, she's let the captain come in, steady the ship. And she's going to have her best start in 11. And last night it technically kind of didn't work, and it was Super Lena sub that and Stina. But we didn't play rubbish last night.
No, we didn't play rubbish.
Listen, we've had some great games. That one, it was kind of a job done, and we move on. And
absolutely.
I just think at the moment, she has to play a starting 11. But if she's given more time, and I think she is more than decent, she'll understand that, like whatever the League Cup's going to be called now, and the FA Cup. She's going to actually. That's where Stina's going to come in, because she is, certainly the Carabao Cup, not Carabao. Sorry, it was.
I feel like just on that, it's interesting you said that. It's interesting you said that. I'm sorry to interrupt as well, but I feel like she's got to settle. I feel like she's got to settle. Don't be brief, to the point. But I feel like she's got to settle starting 11 now, which is good to see. And I'm not saying it's going to be difficult for the squad members to get in. Okay, I'm not going to say it's going to be difficult for the other members of the team to get into that squad. I feel like January is maybe going to be crucial. She can maybe give some competition for his place. I mean, when you see how long Laura's been out, I mean, you could maybe rotate her for Emily Fox or 1 or 2 games or something like that. But if we could get some good players in January and give the squad some competition, then I think we could really be cooking come the second half of the season.
We could. I mean, and that's the crucial thing now, isn't it? Because if we say to Rene, now, look, we're going to give you the job until the end of the season, and then we'll reassess it then, which not necessarily would be a bad thing. We've got a January transfer window right now. Do you want to give a manager who's only temporary, if you like, a lot of money to spend, or a lot of bringing in lots of players in January, when at the end of the season, if it hasn't worked out, you're probably going to get rid of her. And then suddenly you've got a new manager with a load of players they might not have picked. Or do you get a new manager now who can pick the players they want in January, or certainly have a plan for what they want? I don't know. It's a really difficult one for me. I'm kind of split. I don't think Rene's the answer long term. I don't. No matter how, even if we keep her to the end of the season and the season goes quite well, I'm not sure she's going to be the answer long term. If she happens to win the FA Cup, gets to the semi-final of the Champions League, maybe wins the Continental Cup, obviously she's going to get the job full time, and I don't think anyone would mind that. But I'm not sure if she's the answer long term for what we need right now, where we are as a club, and looking at the competition that we're up against personally. And I do love Rene, I do. I think she's great, but I'm not sure if she's the right one to take us that next step that we need. She's steadied the ship really, really well. She's done everything that we could have possibly asked her to do in the time that she's been there, and maybe that she deserves a bit more time for that reason. But we've got a January transfer window to come, and as Andreas points out there, we've got 3 trophies still that we can. We're not out of the WSL title race quite yet. It's looking unlikely, but we've got 3 trophies we can still win, and we don't just want to throw that away by making a wrong decision now rather than looking at the long term as well. We know Terry's thoughts there. salty indeed. We know what Ange thinks about that.
We don't want her. We don't need Emma Hayes, man.
No, we know Ange wouldn't agree with that. Aggie says there harmony with Rene. Well, there has been harmony, but how long does that last? How far can that take you? That's what we've got to ask ourselves. For me, it's quite short term. I think it's quite short term. You know, we might get good results up till Christmas. The way I look at it is this, right? If Jonas hadn't gone and he'd stayed, looking at the fixtures that we've had, okay, the Juventus away game was exceptional, but looking at the games that we've had, Jonas would have probably won most of them as well, I think.
It's
Do you know,
that's
that's where my opinion shift now. Sorry, I backed him for so long, and I didn't like any of the hate, and I really
no, I didn't.
They're not proper supporters; they're fans that have jumped on the bandwagon.
Yeah, 100%.
Absolutely no hate to Jonas, but I wasn't exactly instilled in confidence.
No.
But I totally agree again. How long can she keep? Well, I suppose how long do you give her to the end of the season? And like you said, what she achieves, she achieves. But can I just go back to this January transfer window? Wheatley, second bulldog chewing a wasp. I haven't got much time for her either. Next.
No.
Isn't she the one in an honorary position? Sorry if you're listening, Claire. Next. But isn't she the one that decides? I know the head coach, manager, whatever you want to call him, will have an impact. But I mean, first of all, the one that keeps making a noise is Leah's best friend, isn't it?
Kira. Yeah. Yes. Kira.
And that is one player we could do with.
Yeah, absolutely we could.
I
think it's difficult for a player to join a club when the future's uncertain in terms of the manager. Does a player want to? Yeah, okay. I think it's slightly different in women's football to men's football, but even so, I know Kira Walsh knows a lot of the Arsenal players anyway from the England side and stuff like that. But I think when you've got when a manager wants to sign you as a player, that's a nice feeling. And if a manager says to you, look, I'm gonna bring you to the club. I'm going to play you in this position. You're going to play most weeks and all this kind of stuff. You're excited and you think I want to do it. But if that manager is only a temporary manager, at the end of the season they might be gone. The new manager might come in and not fancy that player at all. I'm not going to play you anymore. And it happens so many times.
I hear what you're saying.
It's Kira Walsh.
Sorry, she'll get her place next because first of all,
she probably would do. She probably would do.
Captain Kimmy's going to go next.
Yeah, but
God bless her wee legs. She's going next.
No, you're absolutely right. No, you are right, of course. But a different style of play, a different formation. Not all players work under every manager because there's differences in how they want to play. But that's just from a player's perspective. She might look at it.
Really good point, Rich. You really have actually, and I get that bit because you always need someone to steady the ship. But I just think Arsenal, we've got such a good team. I think that's for someone like Kira Walsh. I really don't think it's going to be an issue because them girls. And this is another thing I'm going to call out when they called you, Jonas can bully anyone. Bless his heart, Nate. Them girls, we've got such strong personalities in that squad. They won't put up with it. They're not going to put up with male aggression. Next.
No, of course not.
And they won't put up with female aggression either, because that can actually be worse in my book.
Yeah, I agree. I think Jonas came across sometimes on the touchline. He was very passionate, wasn't he? And he got himself a few yellow cards and stuff like that. He got involved with the officials and stuff like that. But I don't believe as a coach he wouldn't have progressed so far he has done in his career if he was treating the
those girls. I'm sorry, they'd have just down tools a long time.
Absolutely. I totally agree with that. I don't believe that for 1 second. If anyone's a bully out of all the managers in WSL, it would have been Emma Hayes. You can see her bully because that's what she. I mean, she probably doesn't. I'm not saying she did, but if you was going to look at anybody that might do, you'd look at her because she. I mean, look what she did to Jonas.
She's a bully. It's a horrible woman.
She looks like a bully. She does look like.
Don't she have to get her son to apologise for her?
Oh yeah,
exactly.
Oh,
exactly, yeah. El Loco agrees with Agner, says it would be a massive mistake if Rene doesn't get the job. Bompasta didn't have to build anything.
Yeah, that's a very good point too.
Yeah, it is a good point. And all the pieces are in place at Arsenal. Look at our squad. The pieces are there. The pieces were there under Jonas. He couldn't quite fit them together properly. Rene's done a slightly better job of doing that. And if we get a top manager come in, they can probably take this team to the next level, I believe. I believe they can. But I'm in two minds about it now. After 1 or 2 games of Rene, I'm like, yeah, give her the job for 5 or 6 games, get a proper manager in afterwards. But as games have gone on, I'm warming to Rene. I love her press conferences. I love her confidence.
Yeah, I enjoy those. Yeah.
Girls like her. I like the football that we're playing in general. I know last night was frustrating, but overall, I'm kind of enjoying it more now, and I'm kind of warming to her. But I still don't think she's the answer long term. So I'm a bit split because I don't want to see her go, but equally, I don't really want to see her appointed permanently as a manager.
Yeah, I understand.
I'm in that dilemma at the minute, actually. Terry says Renee wouldn't get a manager's
Well,
job
be
in
quiet.
McDonald's. She might be, but actually, she probably wouldn't because she hasn't. You have to work in McDonald's to get your stars to become a manager, and she hasn't done that. So she wouldn't become a manager. She'd have to work hard in McDonald's to become a manager. She'd have to work her way up and get all those stars they get on their badges, don't they? All them like 5 stars that you have, whatever it is. So she wouldn't become a manager straight away. Absolutely not. But then she's a football coach. She's not a friar, is she, or whatever they call them, friars and whatever they are. That's not what she does. So she's a football coach.
Very
Greg says it's not a top manager about who could improve the team. There's only Hayes, another manager would upset. Well, we don't know that, do we? You might be right. I'm not saying you're wrong, but we don't know that, do we? I don't know. Sometimes players need to be shocked a little bit to push them to that next level. Sometimes it's too easy. You just go through the motions a little bit because it's nice, you're comfortable, you're happy. But that's not what wins your trophies. And yes, it's good to see the girls play with a little bit more freedom, a little bit more smiles on their faces now. But I don't care if they're happy or not. I want to see them winning stuff. And sometimes you've got to have that nasty bit about you. You might not be happy. You might hate your manager. You might hate your manager, but you go out there and you perform for them.
Sorry, Rich. I've never played football, but I'm a female. I've worked for a long time.
Yeah.
And trust me, whoever your manager is, you need to feel very comfortable with them. And actually, this goes back to women in charge. Some women, I'm sorry, well, we know with the likes of Hayes. I don't think she's the most terrible, but she is bullish, whatever. The worst thing in the world, and especially with females, is when they become a bitch. That is us. Oh no, sorry to call it out, but us nice women, we can work.
I'm glad you said that, Ange. I'm glad it was you that said that.
Called it out. Sorry, folks.
All right, you're allowed that on colourful language on this podcast.
Yeah, we weren't the worst. And to a degree, I can understand why male managers or head coaches do quite well because when you work in a predominantly male environment, you tend to know you'll always get some arseholes. But most men are very decent and they can get a bit narked with you, whatever. But men tend not to hold grudges, whereas women do. No. And as I say, you do get that bitchy element, which we've certainly not seen with Renee, like we don't see with Serena. They're very they've got a quite cold, calculated determination, but also very open, very warm. Probably helps you if you're a mum, i.e., Serena. Obviously, her children.
Well, Renee's a mum as well. Renee's a mum as well, isn't she?
Yeah, to a young child. Where am I going with this one? I think for the women, I keep banging back to that. Yeah, they need someone that basically they can. Perhaps that's what they'd lost with Jonas. I think they had it really well and lost that communication. And he knew his job was going. Yeah. He knew his job because the results weren't there. I'd heard that thing what Tim Stillman said, and he knew his job was going. And so whoever does become Arsenal head coach, because you're not going to be a manager, because Claire Wheatley is the overall honorary manager. Next, I'll get rid of her and just have a proper manager, but that's neither here nor there. But yeah, it's going to be a combination. Yeah, you can't. Oh, that's awfully. But can you do it another way? You've got to have a bit of oomph. I'm not disputing that, but certainly at the moment, Rennie's got it. Yeah, the communication is very good.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, and you're right. I think the point is that you're trying to make a little bit is that I think women understand women more than maybe men understand women because men don't understand women at all generally.
Well, of course they don't.
No, and that's fine, and that's what makes the world go round. It would be a boring place if we did. We don't understand women, and we're not meant to. And that's the whole point of it, right? And I think that's a fair point. And I think women understand women more because they're on the same kind of level, aren't they?
Yeah.
And maybe that in certain situations, I think that's a big help. In other situations, it might not be a help. And sometimes having a man as a manager, like you said, maybe that can get better results. I don't know. I don't really care if it's a man or a woman. I've got to be honest. I don't want to get bogged down with that. I just want the best person, whoever they are, to get the right results for the team. And if it's Renee, if it's another woman, great. If it's a man, brilliant. I don't care. As long as we win and we do the best that we can do, that's all that really matters. I think sometimes we get a little bit bogged down with, well, especially in this day and age, with all this gender equality and stuff. Oh, we need a woman to do this, we need a woman to do that, or we need a man to do this. No, we don't. We just need the best people, whoever they are, whether a man or a woman or whatever they are. They've got to be the best person for the job, and that's all that matters to me.
100%.
And that's what we should focus on, and that's what Arsenal need to focus on now. Get the best person. If you think the best person is Renee, appoint her, give her a job, give her a long-term contract, done, no problem, right? If you think she's the best person, if you think there's someone better out there, go and get that better person, whoever they are, get them.
100%.
But let's make the right decision now for the club. Make the right decision. Don't just be clouded by a few results here and there, because a few results don't mean anything, really.
Well, it can change. We well know, we've seen it.
Yeah, results go up and down. It's not about a few results here and there. What it's about is it's a long-term. The club's got to have a long-term strategy. The long-term strategy's got to be to overturn Chelsea, right? To overturn them, start winning league titles again, and to overtake them. Right? They've got the better of us for too long, right? Because we've maybe made wrong decisions in the management side of things, in the coaching side of things, in the playing side of things. Right? We've made the wrong decisions for too long. We can't afford to make the wrong decisions again, or Chelsea are going to get even further ahead of us. We've got to have a strategy now. If the club sit down and think Renee's the one who can overturn Chelsea for us, give her the job. If you don't think she can, but she's done okay for the time being, don't give her the job. It's as simple as that. You know what I mean? It's got to be that simple for me. It's got to be that. Do you think she's the one to be able to overtake Chelsea and win us the league title in the next 2 or 3 years? Win us big trophies in the next 2 or 3 years? Is she the one to do? If you think she is, doesn't matter what we think, right? If the club think that she's the right one to do it, back her, give her the job, and let's do it. If you don't think she can, long term, find the person who you think can and give them the job. That's what we need to do. And don't mess around too long. We can't afford to waste it. But if they decided to let her have it till the end of the season, I wouldn't necessarily be against that, because I like what she's done. So, and I'll be fairly happy they did that. But if we can get the right person now, get the right person now and do it. Don't be guided by sentiment from 6 or 7 results. That's not the way to. That's the way to build a long-term plan. You build a long-term plan on foundations that are strong, not on a few results that are just neither in or there. Because, as Andy rightly said, results change quickly. We've seen how quickly they've changed for us. We couldn't win a game a few weeks ago. Now we can't lose a game. That's the way football goes. But is that long-term sustainable? That's what we've got to ask ourselves. And Andrea says, Renee is good and liked by the players, but for me, she is not the long-term manager. I could see us going.
Not another Rosengard manager. No, we don't want another Rosengard manager. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, we've gone down that route before to Sweden and stuff like that. And I'm not saying we shouldn't necessarily we should look at every different avenue. Of course, we investigate everything. Just get the right person. That's all I want to see. Brett says there, I have to run away for a while. See if I manage to catch her before the end. Yeah, there's no problem. I'm sure we'll see it tomorrow when the other game's on. We'll catch you then. Joe says, could she cope under real pressure when Arsenal have to play?
I mean, why not?
We don't know, do we? She had pressure. We couldn't win a game. We couldn't win a game. So she was under pressure and she dealt with it pretty well. But you're right, it's a different pressure. Semi-final of cups is a different pressure. When you have to win to get the top 3, that's real pressure. So you're right, she hasn't really experienced that yet. But do we take a chance to let her experience that for the rest of this season, even though it might all go wrong? Or do we say, look, thanks, Renee, you've done brilliant in the interim that you needed to do, but we're looking long term and we've got our eyes on someone else who we think's the right person. And I think that wouldn't be a bad approach for Arsenal, would it? Greg says, we don't need another manager who can win in Sweden. This is the toughest league in women's football. It is. But who is there out there that can win the WSL apart from Emma Hayes? Because she's the only one that's done it for the last 5 years. Who else is there? No one else has done it. So we don't know, do we? It's going to be a risk whoever we get because no one else has managed to do it. Well, apart from obviously Joe when he was manager of Arsenal before. Andreas says, agree, Greg. I just said what I think the club will do. No, I mean, absolutely. And I think you're probably right. Terry says, if we keep Renee, she needs to get her driver's license. That's not very nice, is it? Terry says, say it, Ange, we were crap last night.
Yeah, but we won the game. We won the game.
She sit calmly in the boat. Arsenal with full sails to the future. Yeah, that's a good way of looking at it. I like that. Greg says top sides don't rotate the team; they have a settled start. No, they do. You're absolutely right, but they also make changes at the right time. And you do have to rotate your squad a little bit. You can't play the same team every week because they'll never be as effective because they'll get tired, they'll get injuries. You have to have a squad that can play minutes together that's on the pitch more. I think the men's team will suffer because the squad players aren't on the pitch enough. So when they have to come on the pitch, they're not ready properly because they've not had enough competitive football. So I think it's a balance, isn't it? You need to have a strong team, but you need to use your substitutes and your squad in the right way. Renee so far has done quite well with that. I think she has, but I'm still not convinced long term yet. Aggie says, don't worry, be happy. That was a good song, that actually, wasn't it? That was a really good song. Terry says, we ain't buying any more players in January. Need more sand and palm trees for LA. And a new train. Yeah, maybe you're right. We'll see. We've got enough players, I suppose. So it is a great song, indeed. It is a great song. Terry says the only good thing with Harmony is in Hairspray. Oh, yeah, Harmony Hairspray. I remember that. Yeah, from the 1980s.
Oh, for goodness sake, Terry.
They used to backcomb their hair, didn't they? Yeah. Did you probably backcomb your hair? Did you? Back in the 80s, probably. Eloko said the sides Aussie coach who's making Ange Bluss is Aaron Dantina. Oh, yeah, I think.
Oh, yeah, Aaron, that's his name.
He's been there since the days of Joe. He's been there since the days of Joe.
Yeah.
It's been like 8 years now. 7 years.
Is it really? Is it that long?
7 years.
Yeah.
Wow.
Probably will be, yeah. Greg says this is Kim's last season. Walsh would walk straight into her position.
Really?
Yes, she probably would.
Really?
But there's no Kyra Cooney-Cross. Let's not forget her because she's done well. So he said,
I
would
do
Walsh
like
get in over Paloma? Oh, that's a good point, actually. Don't forget Paloma's out. Paloma's out, and I think Paloma was our best player last season.
I love it.
Eleko says, 100% agree with Rich. Emma Hayes as the biggest, nastiest bully in the WSL. Worse when she gets spanked by Jonas. Well, yes, she was, yeah. She didn't like that at all, did she? That was quite funny, actually. Terry says, yes, let's keep Renee and win nothing. Well, let's go down the route of the men's team. That seems to be the way Arsenal are going. Terry says, can't get a manager's job in McDonald's, but you can manage at Arsenal. Says it all, really. Yeah, no, but would you go? I'll tell you what, then, let's go to our local. Let's all of us tomorrow go to our local McDonald's, find the manager, and say to him, "Do you want to be manager of Arsenal Women's?" Manager because they're a manager in McDonald's. I don't know if that's the right approach myself personally, because my local McDonald's is managed by an absolute nugget, honestly, literally. And he wouldn't be. He wouldn't. I don't know how he's a manager of McDonald's, let alone anything else. So I wouldn't want him to be manager of Arsenal. That's not a qualification, is it? Because you
no, but you get those 5 stars.
Did Pep Guardiola manage in McDonald's? Did he? I never saw him in my McDonald's. Honestly, I didn't. I never saw him in there. I never even saw him in there eating chicken nuggets. But
we
definitely
wouldn't do because they're all super healthy. They don't go to McDonald's.
So is Pep good enough to be manager of McDonald's? No, but does he need to be? No, he doesn't. He doesn't want to be manager of McDonald's. He's quite happy what he's doing. He's signing another contract with Man City. He's not going.
Oh, do you know what? Don't it give you the amp next?
I was going to say
something else. Doesn't it give you the amp? Seriously?
It does. But having said that, I mean, we were quite happy when Emma Hayes was leaving Chelsea, and then they've gone and got Sonia Bonpastor. It's like, oh, for God's sake, if Pep leaves Man City, they're going to get someone just as good.
Yeah, that's true, actually. It
won't make no difference. Yeah. It won't make no difference. So you might as well stay, as far as I'm concerned. It's not going to make any difference, is it? Terry says, nice people win you nothing. You need a nasty streak in your winner's mentality. Yeah, and that's what you get in McDonald's. They've all got nasty streaks in there. I'm putting it. Them managers there, they're horrible. So maybe you're on the right line to go McDonald's. Aggie says, you lady in studio are crazy. He definitely likes you, no doubt. That's good, that's what we like to see. Aggie says, women are from Venus, men are from Mars. Yeah, that was a book. It's probably true. I don't know if it's necessarily Mars and Venus, but it's definitely 2 different planets.
Yeah,
but men and women are from different planets, definitely. Terry says women are mental. Well, yeah, that's a fair point, actually.
Yeah, we are. Totally.
Great. So in the WSL, is the WSL the best league in the world? Well, I think it probably is. For me, Arsenal seems to do good with local teams, beat Spurs by 7-0, and then they face a team from another country. It seems to be much closer combat. No, but that's because what you got to remember is the Champions League is the top teams from all the leagues, isn't it? Right. So you don't get a team as rubbish as Tottenham in the Champions League. But that doesn't mean that. But if you look at half the teams in the Italian league, for example, Arsenal would beat them 12-0 every single week because the league isn't very strong. They've got a couple of good teams at the top, but we've got good teams all the way through our league. So I think we're stronger in depth, definitely stronger in depth. There's no doubt about that. Greg says, God created women because men were enjoying themselves too much. That might be true, actually. That might be the reason. We'll never know, will we? Terry says, Greg, you hit the nail on the head. Yeah, I think you probably had it the nail on the head, actually. It's probably true. He says, Rosengard, terrible last week, champions this year. Well, there you go. That's what happens. Grant says, I need to leave you. Could you go in? Can you decide what you're doing? Come on, mate. Stay with us. Don't be silly. Terry says, you've got to laugh at women. They think not talking to us for a week is a punishment. Well, it is a punishment. We wouldn't want Ange not to talk to us for a week, would we? So it is a punishment.
No, we love Ange. Keep Ange. Absolutely.
One says, is there international breaks in the women's game? Yes. So there is. Yeah, the international break is on now, actually. There's no WSL game.
Yeah, shame. 2 weeks is going to be quite quiet, isn't it?
Because next Saturday, England play the USA at Wembley. Wow, what a great game that's going to be. Now, actually, while we mentioned that, it's actually being played exactly the same time as Arsenal playing West Ham.
I know. I was going to say the exact same thing.
Well done for the scheduling for that. Brilliant. Ridiculous. And then, of course, there would be the week after, on the Sunday, Arsenal women play Aston Villa at the Emirates, which is a great game. At this very same time, Arsenal men are playing.
That has to change. They're going to have to change that, surely. You think they're going to have to change it?
I can't remember who the men are playing now, but we're playing exactly the same time.
Fulham.
That's it. Yeah, Fulham. Yeah, at the same time. What's that all about? What is that all about?
It's a joke.
Why do you think the women's games have had 60,000 fans at the Emirates? Why do you think that's happened? That's happened because a lot of people that support the men's team are also supporting the women's team. Now you want to play the games at the same time. Why are you doing that? Why are you letting TV ruin it? Move one of the games. It's not difficult. Come on. Think of the fans, man. Think of it.
Don't move my Aston Villa game.
Sundog's a good shout. That's a good shout.
Maybe. That's an interesting one. That's an interesting one. Absolutely. Terry says, can't have Salty as manager. The Arsenal fans will be upset at winning figure. I think
we would.
Terry, we want you as manager either to be...
El Loco says, Kira Wall should be 28 in April. We've got a younger version already in Palova and Kyra Cooney-Cross. We don't need Wall. Yeah, that's a good point. I wouldn't say... I think you always need good players, and she's a great player, but I don't know. I kind of agree. We've got younger players coming through that would be just pushed back further down, wouldn't they? Which wouldn't necessarily help in the long term.
Palova is brilliant, but it's going to take time from her ACL. KCC, I really like her, cheeky young girl, but I don't think she'll cut the mustard. But Palova is going to take time.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. No, yeah.
So Kira could be a good interim to get Palova to where she needs to be.
Yeah, maybe. Terry says, Ange is on the gin again.
No, not gin. Not gin. On something, but not gin. Oh, no, I can't.
Mate, if you were in charge of Arsenal, I'm saying this right now. Sorry, I'm going to say this. I don't mean this in the cruelest possible way, but if he was in charge of Arsenal, he talks about alcohol. A guy could even organise a piss up in a brewery.
Exactly. Terry says he's got 5 more stars than Arteta and Rene. Well, yeah, that's true. That is true. But no, let's see what Arsenal do. I wouldn't be surprised if they keep Rene for the time being. I think, we've won games. The fans seem to be on her side. The players are on her side right now. And I think the club will probably keep her for the time being. Whether it's till the end of the season or whether it's till January, I don't know. But I'm not expecting a new manager to come in over this international break. That they said that she was going to do this next block of games, which she's done. I think she's going to still be here for the next block of games as well, personally. If that's the right decision, I don't know. If we can't get the right person in, it's the right decision. So let's. I'm going to back what the club decide to do for the time being, but I still think we need to look bigger than Rene as well as she's done. Let's not let a 5-0 win over Brighton cloud. That seems to be, everyone goes, what a great performance that was, but let's not let that cloud the future. El Loco says, did anyone see Kyra Cooney-Cross's worldie goal against Germany last month?
Yes, I saw it.
A bigger style. It was a great goal. She's played 50 times for Australia, by the way, 50 times, and she's 21. Incredible. incredible. And yeah, she's played more times for Australia than she's played for Arsenal, which is mad. Greg says, Amar, do you think Arteta can organise a piss up in a brewery? I don't think he can organise a kids' party. I must admit, I agree with you. We're on the same page there, my friend. You know we are. But of course, the men play tomorrow against Nottingham Forest, who are doing quite well. And I think
they've got captain back, so let's see. Yeah, got the captain back, so let's see.
They've got a proper striker.
Who? Nottingham Forest?
Yeah, they do.
Yeah, they do. Yeah.
He's
one of the top scorers in Europe, isn't he? Chris Wood. He's one of the top scorers in Europe. Incredible.
But our defence, I think our defence will be all right. We'll see.
I like their manager actually, Nuno Santos. I like him. I like his beard. I like his style. I think he's a cool dude. I do like him.
Yeah, I like him.
But I think it'll be a difficult game tomorrow actually for the men. But I think if we don't win, there's going to be massive pressure. It won't won for a while, so I think it's going to be pressure.
Yeah, I know, but I just have a feeling the break's done the team good. We'll come back well. Hopefully, we'll go on a run now. We've got Odegaard back as well, so let's see.
Oh yeah, got my captain back.
Terry says Rene should walk, win the dog, and have 29 pick up the mess left behind. Is that your dream? Is that your dream? I think you need to stay off the whatever it is you're taking. Andrea says, by the way, I've got a statement from Gunnosaurus in my match. You have? I've seen that from the Juve game. Yes. I haven't had a chance to put that together yet. Obviously, getting in from work today, getting this show ready. Obviously, there's the game tomorrow. I will get up. I've seen the video of Gunnosaurus. He makes a special appearance in the blog. It is going to be amazing, honestly. It is. I personally, when I saw that video last night when Andrea sent it to me, that is the highlight of the entire season. Forget who's going to be manager of Arsenal. Forget all of that. Forget about beating Juventus, qualify for the Champions League. Forget all of that. Forget the Arsenal men's game tomorrow. The highlight of the season so far will be Gunnosaurus live on the video of the blog tomorrow. That is incredible. I've seen the video. Trust me, you will not want to miss it. It is absolutely incredible. And I think actually Gunnosaurus should make guest appearances all the time. If we should get him on the show, he's literally the best thing that's happened to Arsenal. And there's a little Gunnosaurus there. The actual real Gunnosaurus is on Andreas' video. And I've seen it. You're going to love it, honestly. You will love it. So when I get it up, I might be able to get it up tomorrow, actually. I'll see if I get it on tomorrow. We'll get it up for you. You're going to love it, honestly. It's going to be the best thing ever. Terry says, Lordy, I'll watch it straight after. It's not out yet, Terry. I haven't done it yet. I haven't had time. I only got the videos last night. I've been at work all day doing the show. So I will get it up over the weekend. So look out for it. It is, honestly, my mind was... When I saw that video and my mind was actually blown, I was sitting there for 10 minutes, sitting there thinking, wow, life doesn't get any better than this. It does not get any better than this. And it was incredible. So you're going to enjoy it. Greg says, Gunnosaurus could be Arteta's own. He could actually, because he's a big lad. I mean, Andreas is like 8 foot and he's taller than Andreas. He's a big lad, Gunnosaurus. Honestly, he's a big lad. He'd win all the headers. Honestly, he would be lethal from corners, and that's our strength. So, yeah.
He's rubbish in goal. I see him half time. No, sorry, Rich. I see him half time with those little wee kiddies. He's absolutely rubbish in goal.
Yeah, he is. He's not a goalie, is he? He's a striker. That's why. You know what I mean? He's not a goalkeeper. I wouldn't put him in goal. You got to think he's so big to get down and make the saves. He's never going to do it. He's like Manu, isn't he? He's too slow getting down. He'd be good as a centre forward. Aggie says, "Who? What do you mean who? It's Gunnosaurus. Gunnosaurus. Honestly." Watch the vlog when it's on. You're going to love it. Andrea says, I always do my best.
Yeah, of course you do, mate. Keep it up, mate. Keep it up.
Oh, you do. They're fantastic. I mean, anything with Gunnosaurus in is going to get even extra points, isn't it? Let's be honest. It's incredible. I mean, he made a little bit of a guest appearance in a vlog a couple of weeks ago, but this time he's a star of the show, honestly. I mean, Andreas is a star, but Gunnosaurus, come on. Wow. I'd say it's brilliant. Terry says he's also he has one more than Arteta. He has. Gunnosaurus has. He's definitely has. So definitely look out for that because that is going to be incredible. So yes, I'm looking forward to sharing that actually when I get around to making it up as a video, which I will do. But yeah, well, it's been a busy show tonight, isn't it? There's been loads going on. Greg says the vlogs are great. Always look forward to them. Yeah, we all look forward. I look forward to getting the videos, and I get to watch them before everybody else because Andrea sends them to me to put together. So I get all the stuff first of all. I've seen them all from last night. Brilliant. But no, you're right. They are great, and they add a little bit extra to obviously people that can't be at the games get a little bit of the experience of it. Obviously, it won't come through how cold it was, I'm sure, but just imagine how cold it was last night when you watch it, and imagine how cold Andreas was. And as you can see, he's lost his voice today as well. He's lost his internet and he's lost his voice. But maybe Gunnosaurus took it. Who knows? But anyway. That is going to be good. So that has been the Arsenal Women's Show. Wow, incredible! It's the weekend is about to start officially. Yeah. It can officially start now because we it always starts after the show, and it has started now. So we can look forward to the weekend. Of course, tomorrow we said the men's team are playing against Nottingham Forest. It's a 3:00 kickoff, so I'll be here about 2:45. Looking ahead to that one, it's going to be a massive game. I mean, Nottingham Forest are fifth in the table, level on points with us. Wow, incredible! Imagine being level on points with Nottingham Forest. It's like the 1970s. So we need to win that game, obviously. So join me for that. That's going to be good. Champions League Tuesday night as well. The men are playing Sporting Lisbon, who beat Man City 4-1 recently. So, and their manager, of course, is now at Man United. So that's going to be an interesting game on Tuesday. So join us for that one as well. Of course, there is the international break. So there's no Arsenal women's game this week or next week. So we won't be doing a show because there's nothing to talk about really. But we will be showing the Lionesses game against the USA next Saturday. So join us for that because that is going to be exciting stuff. Yeah. Emma Hayes going back to Wembley to get beaten. It's going to be good, isn't it? So we look forward to that. So yeah, loads of great stuff really. And also as well, we are very, very close to 3,000 subscribers. I think we were 50 away last night.
Great stuff, guys.
Come on, if you haven't subscribed yet, let's get involved. Let's get to 50 before Christmas at least. Then 3,000, sorry, another 50 before Christmas would be great, wouldn't it? Let's do it. Let's get it done. And that'll be great stuff, won't it? So lots of great stuff to come. Greg says, Andreas and Emma at the pub together.
Thanks, mate.
Well, indeed, you're right. That's a good point. That was just as exciting as Gunnosaurus. Or not quite, but almost. It's up there, isn't it? It's up there. It's one of the great moments of the season.
Oh, thank you very much. Appreciate it.
Aggie says, yes, sweep the floor with the USA. Well, we're going to try. We're going to try to do that, aren't we? Because we don't like the USA anyway, generally. Although Emily Fox is all right. We'll let her off. Terry says, thanks again to the 3 stars of the show, Richard Amar and our end. So everyone in the chat, hit that like button. Indeed. And don't forget Andreas, who was with us very briefly at the beginning until his internet decided to pack up. But Andreas will be back with us, of course, next time, probably in 2 or 3 weeks' time, because there's no game for 2 weeks. Before the Villa game, and we'll be looking ahead to the Villa game early December. So join us for that one there as well. Amar, good to see you back on the show. Have you enjoyed being back?
Yeah, it's been good. It's been a good positive period. Yeah, shame he's got 2 weeks off now, but yeah, let's hope our goals do well. Nobody gets injured, and yeah, whatever happens, let's hope we can continue this momentum up until Christmas and into 2025. So yeah, it'll be good. Yeah, and look forward to the next one.
Indeed, we look forward to everything really because that's what we're here for. And as well, good to see you again. You enjoyed the show?
I've enjoyed it. Sorry, because I think I'm now starting to get my lurgy.
Oh no!
Yeah, it last. Oh no! Yeah.
You haven't been mixing.
Have the hot toddy at the ready.
Probably finished off by a lousy. Can I be bothered? Do you know? I've really got to that stage now. Sorry, folks. To watch
it happens.
The men, I cannot be bothered to watch now. It's an effort. I do it, but it's an effort.
Yeah, I agree.
I'm not getting it now. I'm not getting it.
I agree with you. I'm finding it difficult. I must admit, a struggle. But it's one of those things, isn't it? That it's just so deeply ingrained in you that you can't do anything about it. You know. Well, I suppose what it must feel like, and I don't know this from experience, just in case people think I do. It must be like the final days of being an alcoholic, where you know you shouldn't be hanging on to it, but you don't know how to let go, and that's what it kind of feels like with me at the minute. It's like I don't really want to be, but I can't help myself. Yeah. I can't help myself, and I'm stuck. I'm stuck in this kind of thing. I don't know how to break free from it. I in a way, I think I've seen a lot of comments on social media, people saying, "Oh, I'm glad the international break's over to have Arsenal back." I'm like, no, I'm not. Let's have another international break because I've actually enjoyed the last couple of weeks without having to worry about the stress of, oh my God, there's another game to suffer. That's how I've been feeling, and that's not really good, is it? I don't like feeling like this, but that's how it is. And I'd rather have an international break because I've never watched international games. I'm not really bothered. I've had a couple of weeks off. We've had the women's games on. It's been great. And now we've got no women's games, and I've got to bloody watch Arsenal play twice this week, or 3 times potentially. It's like, come on, what are you doing to me? My head's already bashed enough as it is.
That's life.
But anyway, I'm sure it'll turn around eventually because it always does. things will change and it will get better, and I'll start enjoying it again. I'm sure. At the moment, I agree with Ange. I'm finding it a struggle.
Yeah,
really
maybe I need my good old FA Cup. That's what. Just go and win the FA Cup.
Maybe that's what we need. That's what we need. Good FA
Win
Cup.
the Carabao.
That's what we need.
Win the Carabao. Win the Carabao. Win the Carabao.
That's exactly what no, I agree. Let's do it. Let's win the FA Cup. El Loco says we love Emily. Only reason we support USA. We don't support USA. We just support her.
Yeah,
That's it. I've got nothing to do with the rest of it. We don't care. Aggie says, thank you. Good night. Yeah, we might see you tomorrow for the main game if you're around. Terry says, sorry, Lordy. And a big thank. Yeah, exactly. Don't miss out, Lordy, just because he only stayed briefly tonight.
No, I feel his pain.
Thanks, Greg. Take care, mate.
Greg says, great to be back on Friday night. Thanks for a great show. Love you all. No, good to be back on Fridays. I'm sure we'll get back in the rhythm of Fridays again once we get back into it. Terry, so have a great weekend and see you soon. Get well soon. And yeah, indeed, get well soon. And with your coughing and spluttering everywhere. Greg says this is the best community of football fans. Can't be beat. Well, no, it's a good community. I agree. It is great to what we've built up over the last few years. Terry says, Greg, have a great weekend. So everyone in the chat. So well, you won't be. You're going to miss the game tomorrow, Terry? No, you're going to be here tomorrow. Right? I'm sure you are. Greg says, win an egg cup. And I'll be happy. Yeah, well, anything will do. Well, let's be honest. Anything will do. But for the time being, this is the Arsenal Women's Show. It's been great. Thank you for your comments, actually. Wow, there's so many tonight. Literally, hundreds. Probably the most comments we've had for a long while, which has been great. So thank you to you guys for joining in. That's what it's all about. We want you to join in as well. So thank you for that. Thanks everyone for watching. I say don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. We're back tomorrow, of course, for the Nottingham Forest game. We're going to put ourselves through it again, as we always do, and we might end up winning, which will be good. So stay with us for that. And of course, you know, there's a load more stuff to come over the next couple of weeks or so before we're back with the women's show. Thanks to Amar, of course. Thanks to Ange, as always, and of course Andreas.
Thanks for having me.
From his poor satellite link in London, but I'm sure Andreas will be back to normal next time when he's back home in familiar surroundings. So that'll be good. Look forward to that. So thanks everyone. We will see you tomorrow at 2:45, of course, for the Nottingham Forest game. Cheers, guys, and as always, come on, you Gunners, let's do it.
Up, yes.
Come on, the Gunners.